All right, so far nobody's rejoined.
Okay. Well, hopefully they rejoin soon. We were on a roll.
That's why I don't like stepping away. Because Zoe's done that before. He's ended the stream before.
Oh, has he?
Instead of hitting exit studio, you hit you end stream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we have to get everybody back now.
Hopefully they get the notification that we went back to live.
Well, so let's see. We hit the political point. We talked about the game.
Okay, we got 2 people back.
Oh, there we go.
It just said 4. It had 4. I don't know.
The other ones will come in once we start talking.
Yeah, we hit the. You guys were talking about stuff that I wasn't listening to because I had to give my dogs food and water.
Right. Well, no, he brought up the integration and all that stuff. And
so, hey guys, I got a question. We're talking history. We're all about the same age. Tony, me, and you. I would love to hear Dave. But we all grew up in different parts of the country. My question is, name your top 3 sports moments in your life. But I'll tell you mine. Number 3 for me is the catch. Just because where I was as a kid, watching the game with a couple of my friends that were boy fans, and one of my friends. And to me, that was like the end of an era. It was the passing of the torch. Purple People Eaters were gone by then. The Steel Curtain was gone. Dallas was like the last remnant, or Bill Walsh, Joe Gibbs, and Parcells. That was like a big moment for me, just thinking it was kind of a story. Number 2 for me is Reggie Jackson's 3 home runs in the World Series. It was just a really big deal at the time. It was a different era. When you got to see something like that on TV, it was huge. And number 1 for me is the 80s Olympic hockey team. If you weren't alive during then, I don't think you truly understand how big of an up.
Yeah, we can blame Zoe for that. So instead of hit and leave studio, he ended stream, and I didn't know about it because I wasn't here. I got a text message from Tony saying that we lost our stream. So hopefully people come back.
Yep.
So I'd love to hear your guys' top. That's my top.
Well, my third favorite moment. My third moment is 88 playoff game 7, Boston Atlanta. Wilkins and Bird. Being an Atlanta Hawk fan, being a Dominic Wilkins fan, that was an awesome game to watch.
Yep.
So obviously the 91 World Series. That's got to be up there because it's the only time that's the last time a men's franchise has won a championship in Minnesota. I don't know. I'd probably say it's kind of like a 1A and 1B probably. Probably it's kind of weird because it's not really any Vikings memories, but I'd have to do the 87 World Series too because the 91 World Series we kind of had a people when people were predicting the World Series, it was kind of half and half. Some people, the Braves are going to win, or the Twins are going to win. But 80-7, we weren't supposed to win anything that year.
No, when we beat Detroit. Yeah. It was that was a shock right there that we beat Detroit.
And then we played St. Louis in the World Series. No one gave us a chance against St. Louis.
No, because
Yeah,
St. Louis had just been there 2 years before.
Yeah.
It's
So those are probably my top three.
It's a very, very personal thing, you know. I mean, I
Yeah.
mean, there's no I can't believe the Cubs winning the World Series or the Blackhawks winning the Stanley Cup isn't in my top three. But you know, you have more memories, bigger memories when you're younger.
I have a ton of Viking memories, but they're not in my top three.
No, what's yours, Tony?
Reggie Jackson's 3 home runs in '77. That's 3.
I see. I was 2 when that happened. So
Yeah, and then winning the gold medal in hockey. That was 2. That was a big thing here in Minnesota.
I was 4.
Half the team from Minnesota. I was in junior high. I was in 7th grade.
I was 4 when that happened.
And then my number 1 is 87 because I worked at the Metrodome, so I was there for all the games. And the Twins won the World Series on my 21st birthday.
That's cool.
So that's why I have the memories of that. But yeah, that's none of the Vikings.
The 80s hockey team, you know, the people that weren't alive or don't remember that. I tell people I liken that today if like Appalachian State beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. That's all big.
Yeah, because the Russians were actually professional players.
The Russians were professional players.
Well, and I also saw that, and I've seen a lot on that, and it was interesting to me what one of the Russian hockey players said after that game. Is that I think it was the goaltender, it might have been the goaltender or the captain. I think it was the captain. He goes, "We forgot." He's like, we won so much, and we forgot the pressure, the pressure to win and all that. He's like, we forgot how fun it was to win.
Yeah,
yeah. He's like, we literally forgot what it felt like to win because we won all the time and we were pressured to win all the time.
Well, the funny thing was we played them. The USA played them in an exhibition.
It was like 11-0,
and they got dog walked.
Yeah,
yeah. A week before that, they played the NHL All Stars and won like 9-2.
Yeah, I mean
they were the best team on earth.
And then here's Herb Brooks, who his whole team was his Gopher team that won the national championship, basically.
Yeah,
a lot of them. Yeah.
And there was 19 players on the roster, and 11 or 12 were Gophers. So
wasn't the Olympics so much better when we were kids? It's so watered down. Who was that?
I still watch the Olympics. What is it? The Olympic Games themselves, like the sporting, the competition, that is good.
I think it was a bigger deal. Though.
I could care less about the opening ceremonies.
It was
a bigger deal.
It got to be a problem when, technically the last Winter Olympic we had up until recently where USA and Russia were in it together was 80. All the boycotts started later. We didn't go to 80 to Moscow. They didn't come to LA in 84.
Right.
It just got to be
and before that, another big memory for me. You remember when that big fat Russian guy broke all the weightlifting? Where he was like,
yeah, I remember him.
What was his name? Alexei something, right?
Alexei something, yeah.
He was like the star of the Olympics.
Because he was the weightlifter.
He like destroyed all the records.
But I mean, it was different back then. I think it was different back then because TV coverage was different. Once you got the cables involved, the cable companies and all that, it got to be too much.
You weren't exposed to sports 24/7. You were lucky.
So the thing about the 1980 Olympic hockey win was, didn't we know that we won that game before they played it because it was tape delayed. It wasn't live.
Oh yeah. It was tape delayed, and they said I remember my older brother was in high school at the time. I think that was on a Saturday night.
No, it was on a Friday afternoon.
Friday after.
It was on the radio because we.
But they
listened
televised it Friday night, right?
They televised it Friday night, and what's his name? Jim McKay didn't tell anybody to score.
No.
So when people were watching it live, nobody knew.
I remember my brother staying home all day. He's like, I'm not going anywhere. I don't want to know the thing. And me, my dad, and him watched it.
You did know because guess what? Walter Cronkite told the final score. If you watch the evening news, because it was big news all over the country, we beat the Russians.
We didn't watch the news or anything. Kind of sequestered ourselves.
But did you?
I heard, we listened to it on the radio. We heard the telecast, and it was a big deal. And then it was on, it came on, Jim McKay came on that night. It was tape delayed. He's like, he wasn't going to tell the score to anybody. So they just let it play out. But yeah, if you listen to it on the radio or if you watch the news, because Walter Cronkite put it out there that the U.S. had won.
That's like people don't realize before Bird and Magic, NBA Finals were tape delayed. Those weren't even live.
I saw them live.
They didn't start doing live NBA until like Bird and Magic. A lot of the games were tape delayed. A lot of them.
Yeah, the LA games were. The East Coast games were.
They say even the NBA championship games, a lot of them were tape delayed. That's the NBA was almost dead.
I think the World Series was tape delayed at one time too.
No. They always, because baseball was like the sport back then. So baseball had priority over everything.
Another big moment. Catch, you might remember this. You might be old enough when Pete Rose was on a hitting streak. That was a big deal. They would break into programs to show his at-bats and stuff.
Oh, that was 78, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was 3.
I remember that.
That was 78 also? I thought that was like 80 or 81.
I do remember them. I do it during the 98 season with McGuire and Sosa. I do remember watching like programs like on like regular non-sports channels.
Oh, like, yeah.
Just watching like sitcoms, whatever.
Yep.
And they would go, "Oh, this is a CBS News update. McGuire just hit 63."
Mm-hmm.
So, I do remember that.
I remember that season. You know, living back in Illinois, and I'm a Cub fan, and there's actually Cub fans who are like, "Sosa's not on steroids." I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh no, that's training and weight lifting. I'm like, you're nuts. They're all on steroids.
But
No.
Here's the thing, though. All these the baseball traditionalists, as you know, can't stand the steroid era. But 98 saved baseball.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying that, but the people.
But I'm saying that, like, you can't be a purist, and because you can't be a purist, and you can be a purist, but you have to give the steroid era some credit for saving baseball, because what's the slogan? Chicks dig the long ball. So you have to give that era some credit, because your traditional baseball pretty much almost killed itself in 1994. Like 1994, okay, the Expos had the best record. Tony Gwynn was hitting 396. You know, there was
the baseball.
Canseco was like 38 and 38. He was almost, he almost hit 40 again. There was a lot of stuff that was going on in 94. A lot of records and stuff were made to be broken. But, you guys decided not to have a World Series. That is like, if hockey didn't have the Stanley Cup, if they decided to go on strike and didn't have the Stanley Cup, that would kill hockey.
Yeah, I mean,
Bob, I don't know where Sarah's at. I sent
baseball actually technically never recovered from that either.
Yeah,
they never.
But like, I remember seeing an interview with Dave Parker, You know, he's in the Hall of Fame. He has his vote. And he said about these steroid guys, he said, it may sound arrogant, but why should I vote for these guys? It takes away from what I did. It diminishes my number that I did it when I did it right. You know, and
Well,
so that's
I mean,
how these players
let's
have
be,
it.
let's you know, let's all be adults here. It may not have been steroids itself, but they all find a way to get an advantage.
You have to, because as you get older, nobody ever beats Father Time.
Right.
And the older you get, you break down, your body breaks down, and then also
I guarantee you, if Dave Parker was playing in the steroid age, he would have used.
Yeah, but he did it.
Okay, here's the thing. No, I'm gonna say, guess what? Parker's a liar, because guess what? Parker was actually pretty pumped for somebody back in the day. And where did he play? Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And where were all the steroids?
Well,
Pittsburgh.
He was probably going to the Steelers facility.
Fuck, it was right there.
I mean, is there a guy that played during the steroid area? Greg Maddux, probably the best pitcher.
Well, pitchers didn't have to use steroids.
Pitchers didn't have to use steroids.
No, but some of them did, like Clemens and that.
Because Clemens was getting older and he was losing it, and he had to.
It was his fastball.
It was his fastball.
Greg Maddux never had a fastball. Greg Maddux was a side to
No,
side.
yeah, I'm just saying. So a guy like that they never.
Well,
I don't think anybody's ever questioned him.
I know my guy didn't use steroids. Tony Gwynn.
Gwynn did it. I don't think Tony Gwynn did.
Look at Tony Gwynn's figure. That's not a steroid figure. That's a
Carl's Jr. That's a Carl's Jr. figure.
Yeah, that's a Carl's Jr. figure.
Griffey
that's
Jr.
Carl's Jr.
Griffey Jr. will never get in.
Here's the thing, though. You can kind of tell the guys who use steroids and who didn't. Griffey's kind of like in between that, because look at Bonds when he played for Pittsburgh and look at Bonds when he played for San Francisco. Two different human beings. And by the way, your hat size doesn't just magically change.
No.
I don't think Frank Thomas ever took him, but he was a big dude. Frank Thomas.
Well, some guys are just country strong. Like Dave Kingman was country strong.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, Kingman was.
You know, so guys like that, yeah. But you can kind of like, but
he was
when you go from like 205 to like 245, and you have no fat on you at all, and it's just from muscle mass, you can't do that.
Another one that was like Kingman was Greg Lazinski.
Kingman was a twig. He was like 6'5", 215. He was a twig, but he just had that arm extension. There's that one video. When I was a kid, he hit one out in the left center, went out of the park, down the street, across the street, and hit a porch 3 houses down. It was just a shot.
Kingman hit one years ago. Kingman hit one in the Metrodome. He hit a foul ball in the Metrodome. He hit it so high that it literally went into one of the holes in the roof of the Metrodome.
So was that? Is that a ground rule double?
They didn't know. What did they do? Because it took me like 5 minutes waiting for the ball to come down, and
he did that in Seattle too.
I think they gave him. I don't know. They might have gave him another foul ball.
Because technically, it's out of play.
Yeah, technically it's a ground rule double, but I don't know. I remember it though, and it made the blooper reel on This Week in Baseball.
Yeah, it's weird because when people do quizzes for like home run people, a lot of people don't put Dave Kingman in. I'm like, what he's talking about? He's a cult legend, man.
Yeah, he is a cult legend.
Oh, he couldn't catch a cold in the field, but
that's why he was perfect for the DH.
Oh yeah, Davey, ESPN Classic. When ESPN Classic came out, they used to play the old-fashioned black and white home run derby, and I remember the one one that Harmon Killebrew was on.
Yeah, I forget who he was against.
Yeah, But I remember that they would talk to the guy that wasn't hitting as the other guy was hitting. It was
that was like in the 60s, right?
yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, he was still a senator, wasn't he?
No, he had a Twins uniform on.
Did he have a Twins
So
uniform?
it might have been like 63 or 64.
Okay.
that they were doing it.
Okay.
That's like they say
But by the way,
in the like in
here's
like
another-
the 60s.
here's another Harmon Killebrew trivia question. He's the logo for MLB baseball.
Is he the logo or is it somebody else?
No, it's him. I was watching when he passed away. Someone did a story on him, and they used his image for the guy standing in the batting box with the helmet, the blackout version, the black one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they said that was Harmon Killebrew.
I thought it was Mickey Mantle.
No, they said it was Harmon Killebrew.
Wow.
I was watching a show and they were talking about there was a time in New York City, when the Dodgers, Giants, and Yankees.
Oh, it was
there.
against Mickey Mantle, Bob.
Oh, it was Mickey Mantle against Harmon.
So speaking of the Twins, Hey George, I sent Sarah an invite. I don't know where she's at. If she sees it and gets on, she'll join. She may not have her lap. She may not have her phone. It's either her phone or her laptop, one of the two, where she can't get on X.
So who's the greatest twin ever?
The greatest twin ever?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta let my dogs in.
Bucket rank up there?
Yeah, it's either Harmon or Kirby.
Well, I don't know. What about Walter Johnson?
He wasn't a twin.
Same franchise.
It's not a twin. He said twins, not senators.
Same franchise.
No.
For
No.
me and the club,
No.
Ernie Banks for me.
We all know the greatest twin ever is Shane Mack. Come on, man.
Boy, are you reaching for the bottom of the barrel. God.
Ernie Banks for me with the Cubs is the greatest.
I'm not gonna lie, the greatest baseball player. See, I was a big Joe Morgan guy growing
There's
up.
a lot of.
I love Joe Morgan.
Tony Gwynn's my favorite baseball player of all time.
Yeah.
Boy, that early red team was just loaded, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
More because Tony Gwynn looked like me. That's probably why. I don't know.
I wish I was old enough to remember that A's.
Bigger guys can always relate to the bigger players.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish I could remember that A's Cincinnati World Series. That had to be great. Just
I'm gonna say
years.
Got Lyman.
Reggie-
Oh man, yeah, I remember Lyman.
Reggie Jackson was definitely my favorite player growing up as a little kid.
Reggie. I think I got bored with Reggie, even when he was a Yankee. I just kind of got tired of him, I guess.
Well, he was in the news 24/7.
Yeah, and that was before cable news. Well, he was always getting into it with Billy Martin. That didn't help. I mean, that team for them to be winning the way they were, that Yankees team was dysfunctional as all get up.
Billy Martin would fight anybody.
Baseball has such a rich history, though. I mean,
well, Billy got in a fight here in Minnesota when he was manager. He got in a fight with his pitcher. I think it was Dean Chance. He punched him.
Didn't he drive off a cliff?
Who, Billy?
Yeah.
Is that how he died? I thought he got in a head-on car accident, or he was a passenger or something.
Well, they said the first WrestleMania, he was like the guest.
Yeah, he was there.
Ring announcer or timekeeper or something.
Yeah, and he was
Brad. Hey, nice meeting you at the Skull Fest, buddy. I really enjoyed that.
Hey, Mike.
He had a drinking problem, and he was there drunk, and they were worried.
Really?
They were worried that he was gonna.
Yeah,
Was he like Jim Leland? How Jim Leland would smoke in the dugout? Was Martin like pushing him back in the
yeah,
dugout?
that Gatorade had a shot or something.
Well, no, they were worried Billy Martin was going to take a swing at one of the wrestlers. He was all hyped up like it was real. Like, Billy, you need to calm down. I'm here to fight. He was not.
That wouldn't have surprised me. That wouldn't have surprised me at all.
They have a Sports Illustrated cover of the baseball player Dick Allen, but he was on the White Sox. On the cover of Sports Illustrated, he's in the dugout smoking a cigarette.
There's that famous picture in the Super Bowl at halftime of Len Dawson smoking a cigarette and drinking Diet Dr. Pepper. Or not Diet, but just regular Dr. Pepper, I think. In the locker room.
Doug Buffon said they used to smoke on.
Yeah, players used to smoke all the time. You know? Hell, I ain't gonna lie. I could tell some semi-pro football secrets. I played with guys fucking with doing, believe it or not, they were doing lines at halftime.
Yeah. Cowboys. A lot of
Speaking of that, 85% of U.S. money's got traces of cocaine on it.
I wouldn't know. I can't keep it long enough to look at it.
Okay, here's another question. Name some of your favorite NFL nicknames for, it doesn't matter, player, defensive teams, like the Purple People Eaters. Mine's got to be Hacksaw Reynolds was a great name. Yeah, Ironhead Hayworth. Was it Haywood or Hayworth?
Yeah, Craig Hayward, Ironhead.
Be back in a second.
Ironhead and they said Reynolds actually hacked out a car in half in college.
Yeah, he did that in college. That's how he got the nickname. Yep.
Inside.
Let's see. Well, Carl Eller's nickname was Moose. A lot of people don't realize this. Baltimore's front four in the 70s was named the Sack Pack. A lot of people don't realize that. I always like Doomsday. I always like the name Doomsday.
Doomsday, the Steel Curtain. All the defenses had names in those. No name defense, Doomsday defense, Steel Curtain, Purple People Eaters,
Denver had the Orange Crush.
The Rams were what with the Fearsome Foursome?
Yeah, Fearsome Foursome. Now, see, in Deacon Jones, his real name is David. It's not. His real name is David Jones. Deacon is like a nickname, but I always like Deacon.
Air Coryell was the Chargers.
Yep, Air Coryell was the Chargers. The Dome Patrol in New Orleans. The Dome Patrol with the Saints. Atlanta was the Grits Blitz. I actually like that one.
Oh, you were talking Wednesday night when somebody asked a question about McMichaels. Okay, here's my take on McMichaels in the Hall of Fame. They say he was like the centerpiece, the cog that made that wheel turn.
He was
very important. I would say he belongs in there more than Dan Hampton.
Hampton had the longevity.
But I'm just saying, if Hampton's in there, McMichaels should be. I would put McMichaels in ahead of Dan Hampton.
Hampton had the longevity, but people don't realize Hampton had some sort of a year-end surgery he played 12 years, and every part of his body had been surgically repaired. He had a surgery. Because
when he got in, I was still living up in Illinois. And I used to tell my Bear friend, you're going to put him in there, but not Jim Marshall. That was my thing.
The only reason he's going in is because he's on death. He's the way he is. I'm not going to begrudge him it, but if you're going to put McMichael in there, you need to put you should. Jim Marshall should have been in there 30 years ago.
Oh no, yeah. I'm not. I 100% agree. But when you were talking about, I think McMichael belongs more in there than Dan Hampton. I
think Hampton is deserving. He was always, and he played defensive tackle at one time too, but he played defensive end at the end. But here's the thing with McMichael. McMichael was stuck with William Perry. He had to make up for Perry because Perry was very limited. Perry, for as big as he was just not. I mean, luckily he had those three surrounding him. Other than that, he was not a very good player.
I just watched that documentary about the Bears again about a couple weeks ago, and I never watched the beginning. They were saying, so the year they cleaned house, yes, Cage was on the team, and Gary Fensick said, I remember the last game of the season, things were going to change because the guy walked off the field, went to the locker room to use the phone, and they were all worried about them cleaning all the coaching staff and Buddy Ryan even, and the team got together, and Fensick was a Yale graduate, and they asked Page and Fensick to write a letter to Hal saying, got to keep Buddy Ryan on the team. And Hal, I guess, went
that's the only reason Ryan still had a job, because guess what? He wasn't going to have a job with Ditka.
No.
Yeah, he wasn't going to have a job with Ditka. And Allen was always good friends with Buddy Ryan, which is probably why Allen ended up in Chicago.
Page wrote that letter to Hallis, and Hallis walked onto the field the next day and said, everybody but the defense get off the field, coaches and all. And he pulled that letter out and said, I've never been more proud of a team than you guys.
Well, you knew Armstrong, that was Neil Armstrong, the former Viking coordinator that got the can. Yeah. And you knew there was going to be a change because the Bears had faltered. They didn't live up to expectations, and part of that was on Armstrong. But, yeah, you knew it. Page was retiring. And then, when they got Ditka, and I know Ditka was fuming about that he had to keep Buddy Ryan. He couldn't bring in his own guy.
Ditka said he would walk into the defensive meetings and Ryan would say, get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, that's the way he was.
They didn't like each other.
I don't know. I honestly don't know how Buddy got along with Bud. If he did, I don't know. But I never heard of any of that with Bud Grant. He was here for 2 years with Bud. But yeah, when he got to Chicago, I mean, it got to be and he wasn't like that with Neil, but he was like that with Ditka. I think that was just, they were both the same type of person.
But it was such a different era watching that documentary, how they're like, McMichael is laughing. He's like, they used to like really go at it in practice, and Jimbo Covert.
That was a different era. I'm just going to be honest. Men weren't soft.
Jimbo Covert and him got in a fight, and McMichael's in the interview is laughing. He goes, yeah, I was the dumb one that took my helmet off and he knocked me out.
Yeah, and that's because
they laugh about it. Yeah,
it was a different era. I mean, here's the thing. You're not going to have that now because for some reason you've got too many psychologists telling everybody, teammates don't fight. The fuck they don't. Jesus Christ, it happens. Grown ass men are going to fight. Now everybody's we're all friends, blah, blah, blah. Fuck that. And it's training. Nobody wants to be there.
You're going at it with the guy 3 days at least,
Yeah, you can't take the physicality out of it, no matter how you try. It's a joke. It's just a joke. It's a different era, different time, different mindset.
Why wasn't Tua wearing one of those shell protectors?
There's a couple. I saw a couple last night.
I know, but why wasn't Tua? I mean, with this concussion, that's just I don't get it.
They can wear it. I don't know if it cuts down the concussion, but they can wear it. They're doing whatever they can to protect the brain. Rest of the body is optional. Let's just be honest.
But I mean, that offers some more form of protection, I would guess. I mean, that's why it's.
What also offers a form of protection is don't go head first in this shit.
Yeah, true. I knew you were going to say that.
It's like learn how to tackle. What's wrong with what Tua's problem was? He went head on into Hamlin and he got a concussion.
Yeah.
It's like learn to slide. You're a fucking quarterback. The rules are made for you. Learn to fucking slide.
The way his arm was sticking up, I think he got knocked out again because his arm was.
He was knocked out. I mean, he should know better. It ain't his first concussion. This is like his third or fourth.
So that's a team that if let's say Sam Darnold keeps on performing great, and the Vikings let him walk, that may be a team that goes out and looks at him hard.
Well,
Also,
the Dolphins. Sam's paid regardless.
Don't be a Gus Farad. Also,
yeah, don't be a Gus Farad and headbutt a wall after you win a score touchdown.
So I mean, the Dolphins could be looking at Sam.
Hey, Bob, I see your comment. The helmets, they can't really do much more with the helmets. I mean, they've done as much as they can.
Well, yeah, also, here's another thing. It's partly the player's fault too.
I said that.
Yeah. They wear the helmet. The helmets are not supposed to be comfortable, people.
No.
I when I played the helmet, I saw maybe one or two helmets come off a year. It seems like a helmet comes off every game now.
Because these players nowadays are going for aesthetics instead of protection.
Right. So they need to if the league wants to crack down, that's what they need to crack down on. Wear your helmet properly.
That's
so the fight
so much with the helmets. And I mean, put it this way: if you had to play if you played old school football, you had like 3 holes at the top of the helmet. That was it, and your helmet was black, and it was 90 degrees. Fuck, you're frying the brain.
Yeah.
So do the Vikings let Darnold walk no matter what next year?
Yes.
I think JJ's starter no matter
JJ's
what.
starting next year. You don't draft JJ to sit 2 years.
Even though he might have a top 5 quarterback?
He's not going to be top 5.
What if he is? Still let him walk.
Still let him walk.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, see, here's the deal. Sam Darnold was a bridge quarterback. Yeah, he's going to get paid. The Vikings are going to offer him a competitive contract. But everybody knows how the NFL is. There is going to be a team that will overpay for what a quarterback did the year before, and getting them that next year, they most likely suck.
I think
but could you technically mid-season, things are going well, he's looking great. Can you sign him to a one-year contract?
No, he's a rental player. Why would I do that?
Because if he turns out to be okay, he was just in unfortunate situations, and now he's with a good team. He's looking like the true third pick in the draft.
Then why did you draft JJ McCarthy?
That's why I was saying this year, let's wait till next year and see what Sam Darnold looks like.
Here's the thing.
That during the draft.
So you're going to pay Darnold a ton of money, which you probably fuck up your cap space again, instead of the rookie who's cheaper.
I think
who can do just as much as Darnold, most likely.
The only way Darnold comes back next year is if he comes back for the same amount of money and he's a backup.
Somebody will overpay for him, that.
But I'm not giving Sam Darnold $30-40 million a year.
I'm not.
It's not going to happen.
Even though he
could take us to the Super Bowl. He could take the Vikings to the Super Bowl and win it.
I'm not paying him.
He's still not going to come back. JJ is the starter next year.
This team just got out of a cap hell because of a quarterback.
Yeah.
You're not going to put yourselves back in that hell because of a 1-year wonder.
Well, you
I don't
know
care what I don't
what's
care
going
what he does. I don't care what Sam Darnold does. KOC is not going to have him be the starter next year.
Happen.
Oh,
It's not going to happen.
He can come back
I
as a
just
backup.
question letting a
Yeah, he
guy
can come
that
back.
looks like he might be a top 5 quarterback for an unproven commodity.
Well, I understand that, but
Yeah, but here's that unproven commodity. Guess what? Guess who was also an unproven commodity that just happened to be good? Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
and
So
you got one.
So I mean, any quarterback, any player is an unproven commodity. Okay, if
So
they
to me, getting Sam Darnold this year was just like drafting him.
well, and
Just
plus,
like
Sam, this is everybody's jumping on the Sam Darnold boat now, and they're already thinking about giving him more money. First of all, Darnold was never the long-term plan. He was a 1-year rental. So if that 1-year rental works, you move on because you've got your quarterback of the future. Now, here's another thing. Okay, Viking fans, guess what? Darnold plays good this year. You give him a big fat contract next year, and he sucks.
Yep.
And you're stuck with that fucking money. So guess what? You're back in that purgatory hell of overpaying for a fucking average quarterback when you've got a rookie who didn't play this year but is ready to play, much younger, and still on a rookie contract.
and there was talk that Darnold may not even start at week 1 if JJ didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna look.
I'm not saying
Very,
Sam
very
Darnold's not going
good.
to. I'm not saying that Sam Darnold's not going to have a good year. That's not the discussion. I think JJ is the starter week 1 next year, no matter what happens.
Yeah, JJ's starting next year. He is starting
If
next
it works out.
You know,
He is starting next year, but that also depends on, like I said, I've actually given him accolades this year as KLC. KLC's play calling is a lot better.
I would rather
years.
I would rather go with JJ who we think is going to be good, but we don't know. But on a rookie pay, then go with Sam Darnold, who he's probably going to take us to the playoffs, maybe win a playoff game or 2, hopefully. But going back, look at Case Keenum. What has Case Keenum done since he's left the Vikings after that year? Absolutely fucking nothing. So if you give Sam Darnold all that money, yeah, we know JJ. Yeah, he's unproven commodity. We don't know, but he's on a rookie contract. Now,
I think Darnold has a lot more talent than Case Keenum, but
but what I'm saying though is we just left a salary cap situation where we had a quarterback that was just good enough, not great, just good enough. You know, so why would they go back to that?
Why would you put yourself back in that
Right.
hell?
well, here
in this offense that we run, I don't think you need a high press quarterback. I think
No.
you just need a quarterback that has the killer instinct and has that dog in him, and JJ's got that dog in him. So
here's my thinking. With Sam Darnold, maybe we find out the Super Bowl window is open now with the way this defense is playing. The Super Bowl window is open now. You let him walk. You go next year with a rookie quarterback. That Super Bowl window might close.
Here's what I want people to do, okay? We're 2 games into this season. I need Viking fans to seriously do this. Pump the fucking brakes. You take it 1 game at a time. Every game is going to be different, okay? Right now, we're playing pretty good. We don't know what's going to happen down the line. We've already got injuries, all right? So guess what? You take it 1 game at a time and see what happens. If Darnold leads us to the playoffs, great. But he is not the answer. He is not the future for this team. He's not. The future is JJ McCarthy. He was and we will
like
keep
I said, I'm probably the 1 or 2% of the Viking fans that would if the Super Bowl window's open.
I don't even think it's that high, Tony.
What?
T-Bass. I don't think the percentage is that high. It's more like 0.1 or 2%.
Yeah.
But if you find out, if you find out so how many teams out there have ever let's say they do win 2 playoff games. They get to the championship game. Not too many teams have ever just gotten rid of that quarterback, other than the Vikings,
No Kansas City.
and moved on to a rookie.
Chiefs did it with Alex Smith.
Did they do it? Okay.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think the Niners did it with Alex Smith.
The Niners also did it with Garoppolo.
Yeah, with Garoppolo. It's been done.
Yeah.
It has been done.
Well, we'll see. I just, just like you're saying about
Here's the
Just like you-
this is the thing, okay? Everybody's, and unfortunately, we're in an age where football is you have to have the quarterback to get to the Super Bowl. The rest of the other positions don't count, which is bullshit. Okay? We still got to get help on the offensive line. That's still a weakness for us. Hell, we don't even know if Darnold's going to be able to stand upright because we got Ingram and Bradbury on the goddamn offensive line. So we got to see what happens there. Because with the money that we're not paying for a quarterback, we can build up other areas and we can build up weapons around said quarterback to help him out. That's what helps out a quarterback most of all. A strong offensive line and a good running game. Okay? So
I understand. I understand, but I just want to counterpoint what you just said, Tony, about the Vikings are 2-0. Viking fans need to pump the brakes and just let shit plan out. I can say the same thing about that, about J.J. McCarthy. The one game, the preseason game I seen, they were like, he did this and he did that. And it was against the first team. No, it wasn't. All his touchdowns were against the second and third teams. And the one touchdown, a high school quarterback should fucking make.
I'm going to tell you something right now about J.J. McCarthy. That motherfucker a dog. He's a competitor. He's competitive. He's a leader. He's not a fucking loser. That kid's going to come in here and put that mentality on this team. Okay? He's going to.
Let's see.
I'm just saying.
You're right.
It doesn't matter. And here's another thing, too. I don't care if he threw it against the Little Sisters of the Poor. The fact that he did it proves that he can do it. I don't give a fuck if it's first, second, third, fourth string. You perform when you get out there. Bottom line. Don't matter who the fuck you're against. You perform. Don't take that away from him because it was second string or third string, okay? Don't take
isn't that what Sam Darnold's doing right now?
Darnold has also been how long has Darnold been in the league, Bass? How long has Darnold been in the fucking league? And how long did it took him to get this good? And what did it take for him to get this good? Look at the whole fucking picture, okay? Look at the whole goddamn picture. Darnold is doing good right now. I give Darnold his props. But guess what? We don't know what the fuck he's going to do next. He's still got, what? 15 more games?
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen.
So T-Bass.
I know. I need to slow down. Thank you.
We're not. Watch your blood pressure.
Oh.
So T-Bass, we're not saying that JJ is going to be great when he first plays. We're not saying that. What we're saying is.
What I'm saying is stop slamming on him.
What I am saying is it does not matter. It does not matter what Sam Darnold does. JJ is the starter next year. That's it. That's
JJ's team.
That came from KOC.
Yeah.
JJ is the starting quarterback no matter what next year.
This is JJ's team. The Minnesota Vikings are JJ McCarthy's team.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold was your bridge piece. That's all Sam was. Why?
Yeah.
And he's 2-0. Great. He still got to prove that he can do it. Now
he takes us to the playoffs. Great.
Right.
He wins the playoff game. Great.
JJ
JJ is still going to be the starter.
This is JJ's
game one
team.
next year. That's all.
But also, by Darnold playing well, he's going to get a payday from somebody.
Yeah. He's going to price himself out of the Vikings.
Right.
Anyway.
He's going to get a payday. So for him, I hope he balls out. But coming back to the Vikings, no. It's JJ's team.
Well, he may come back next year, but as a backup. He will not be the starter.
He won't come back as a backup.
Yeah.
No, he's not coming back as a backup.
He will not be a back. I know, everybody. I got upset. Jesus Christ.
Mama, watching out for you, Tony.
Tony, we can have a discussion. Go through the roof.
You know why you go through the roof? Because I've heard this. I hear this up here in Minnesota. I hear this from Viking fans. They're not looking at, first of all, we didn't draft J.J. McCarthy to sit the bench. We drafted JJ McCarthy to be the leader of this.
Okay. Well, I'll say this. JJ, the only reason he's not playing this year is because he's hurt.
Yeah, the reason I said the Vikings win 10 games is because I figured JJ would be starting sometime.
Yeah. So
I got to see him.
I understand everybody. I like Sam Darnold. I have never disliked Sam Darnold. He's played well this year.
I could take him.
Can he keep it up? I don't know, but I understand that. But he's making $10 million, which is fantastic for a starting quarterback, right? For a veteran
good
quarterback.
money. That's good money. Yeah,
right. But
I'll take
you
it.
don't draft a quarterback number 9 in the first round for him not to play. Yeah, sit a year. I think that was the plan, was to have JJ sit maybe half the season.
Yeah.
Depending on how Darnold was playing, put him in. I think that was the plan. But now that JJ's hurt, Sam Darnold ain't got to worry about that.
Well, nobody.
Sam Darnold has this whole year.
Yeah.
Has this whole year to play. So if Sam Darnold has the year that people think he is, he finally lived up to his number 3 pick. He's this, he's that. Oh, look at the team. They're looking at the teams that need a quarterback. The Raiders. Well, he's not going to go back to the Panthers, but the Raiders need a quarterback. New
If
England.
they ain't care for the Bears, will need a quarterback.
Yeah. So there's teams out there that need a quarterback who have if Sam Darnold has a talent, like Sam Darnold has more talent than a lot of these quarterbacks who are starting. Like he has more talent than Geno Smith, but he could be another Geno Smith. Sam Darnold could be another Baker Mayfield. He has more talent than Baker Mayfield.
Geno's in Seattle, right?
Right. Yeah.
But Geno's got Lockett and Metcalf.
Right. But what I'm saying is there's places for Darnold to go to where he can make more than $10 million as a starter.
Yeah, somebody's going to overpay.
Yeah. My whole thing is, even this year, I'm going into this year with all these defensive players they brought in. I'm more of a guy that was like, yeah, this looks good on paper. I want to see it. And I'm excited about the defense.
Well,
I'm excited about the defense because I've seen it. JJ
here's a problem
is
with
the
the
same
defense.
way. I want to see JJ perform.
Here's a problem with the defense. Some of these defensive players are on 1-year rentals.
Yeah.
But they're looking good right now.
Okay, guess what? You know who's on the biggest 1-year rental? Brian Flores.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I said, I hope there's somebody in the defensive coaching side that is absorbing this shit up like a sponge.
So here's the thing, though. And this is where I got on B-Flow last year. He didn't do enough of adjustments. He was terrible. Both sides of the ball. Both coaches were bad at adjustments last year. This year, the biggest thing with Flores is he's came out and he's dictated shit. He's literally coming out and having his defense hit folks in the mouth. That's what shocked San Francisco. The Vikings were much physical with them this year than they were last year. Much more physical.
I mean,
like that.
We were just talking about the 85 Bears. I'm looking at this team a lot like the 85 Bears. You got O'Connell as a head coach, but then you have, your buddy Ryan with this Flores on this. Which is basically another head.
It's too early for that. It's way too early. You beat the Niners. Good deal.
No. I'm not saying they're going to be the 85 Bears. I'm just looking at this coaching thing as with Dick and Ryan as.
But O'Connell and Flores get along, where Dick and Ryan hated each other. Yeah. So there's that big difference right there. And
I think it's you know how they have like the good cop, bad cop thing?
Yeah.
I think that's what it is with the Viking staff. I think it's KOC's the good coach. Brian Flores is the bad coach.
Brian Flores is the
head coaches.
But Brian Flores' attitude is kind of shrugged off on the offense too, because that offensive line is more physical also.
Yeah. So
there's been this.
Thank you, George.
Thanks, George. So maybe there was a meeting of minds during the off season. B-Flow and KLC sat down and talked. Maybe
this is better than my class reunion.
Yeah. Do you have anybody stroke out at your class reunion? But I mean, it's we'll see what happens. We still got a lot of football left, folks. A lot of football right now.
Oh,
Not 2-0 is better than 1-0-2, but it's still a lot of football.
It's this next game is going to be, I think, a game of field position. Pick your spots for your big play, and it's going to be a battle of field.
Well,
position.
Well, this week is going to be. I think this week will be more of a test than last week because the Vikings are in Minnesota. San Fran going to Minnesota is their kryptonite. So,
Yeah.
I think this week we'll figure out because the Texans have never beaten the Vikings, but this is also the best team that the Vikings have, the best Texans team the Vikings have ever played. So,
Yeah.
It's
we'll
all
see.
it's all on CJ Stroud.
And a win's a win. A win's a win, but it's frustrating that
What up,
that was
Ozzy?
down to a one-score game because that last week should have been a blowout.
Well, and you know what? Here's the thing. Let's give Fred Warner credit. The man is a goddamn all-pro. And all pros make plays. So I'm not even going to fault him. And you know what? Real motherfuckers make real plays, and Warner made real plays. You know, and then here's the thing, too. B-Flow let that offense drive 99 yards for a touchdown. So, I mean, there are some things that they got to work on. There's good and there's bad. There are things you can fix, which is good. But this week you have a much more, and I told Ketch this, you have a much more mobile quarterback in CJ Stroud this week than you did with Brock Purdy.
What's the update with Jefferson? You gonna play?
Jefferson's playing, Addison's not.
Yeah, the only three players out for the Vikings are Pace, Turner, and Addison. Excuse me, Addison.
And I'm like, and like I said to Ketch, I'm like, you know what? Nobody should wear the number 0. That number's cursed. Now Pace is hurt. Last year, Davenport wore 0, and he was hurt all year. So,
are we gonna see Asamoah?
Most likely, yeah. Asamoah's been playing, but it's been on special teams.
Or Kruger Hill.
Kruger Hill's a veteran, so he'll probably start. I think he wasn't he with the Texans last year?
I don't remember.
I'd like to see what Asamoah has.
I think we've already seen what Asamoah has. If he can't get on the field, that's on him.
Yeah.
You know, we've already seen what Asamoah has. He has moments where he showed up, and then he had moments where he was invisible. Now, if you can't get on the field, that's on you. And you've been in the league 3 years now.
Well, I'm not getting on him, but last week Pace was missing some tackles. He ran.
Pace was actually terrible in pass coverage, which it's Kittle, but still.
Yeah, I mean it's nitpicky saying he was the weak link last week.
But you also have to keep in mind, Pace is not the biggest dude in the world. He's fast. He can't hit, but a big lineman gets his hands on him, it's a wrap. You know, if he's not blocked, if he's not engaged, he's going to make a play. But if he's engaged, oh boy, it's not funny. But yeah,
he ran through his tackles.
You know, but all in all, I mean, and the press still. And here's the thing. Now, this is what bugs me with the press. It's not that the Vikings were the better team on Sunday against the Niners. Their whole thing is the Niners didn't play their game. The Niners didn't do this. The Niners didn't do that. You know, they ask more questions. It's not about – it's like, okay, why did the Niners play bad instead of they were just outplayed by the Vikings?
Well, the guy – what I was telling you, there was a power rankings that the Vikings at 19.
Is that PFF's power ranking?
No. I can't remember who it was. But his comment was, and he kept the 49ers at 2.
Okay.
And he said, well, the 49ers barely lost. I'm like, tell me you didn't watch the game without telling me you didn't watch the game, because nobody in their right mind says the 49ers was a close game.
That game wasn't close at all.
That game was not close. Oh, well, the 49ers had 319 passing yards. Yeah. They threw like for 80 yards like on the last drive.
Yeah. Also, they had 319, but if you go by their net passing, with the sacks they lost, was less than 300.
Yeah.
Dumbest dumbest thing in that game is when it was 3-0 and it was 4th and goal, and it was basically on to 2. That wasn't on to 1. That was a long one.
Here's the
You
thing.
take the points there. You kick the field
Yeah,
goal.
you take the okay. That somebody should be giving Shanahan a lot of grief because first of all, when you're in a game
That was
like
just
that,
dumb.
when you're in a game like that, you take the points when you have the chance. What I mean, how do you, that's a chip shot field goal. How the hell do you not take the points?
Then if they do that 95-yard or that 98-yard pass doesn't happen, who knows what happened? I mean,
No,
that was just a stupid football move. Like,
it was a quick turnaround, real quick turnaround. But I do give, and I'm going to give Darnold credit here. 2 weeks in a row, Darnold has put a pass only where JJ could catch it. He did it against the Giants perfectly for 40 yards, and last week the one he did for 97.
oh,
And
that third down pass to Naylor was
wasn't that
better.
about somebody remind me? Wasn't that about a 50-yard bomb?
What to JJ?
Yeah, because
It was
JJ
70.
caught it just on the other side of the 50.
It was 70 in the air.
Was it 70 in the air?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that third down pass he threaded to Naylor was even
Because he
better
threw
pass.
it from the end zone and JJ caught it on the other side of the 50.
Yeah. Well, we know who couldn't throw that pass.
So yeah.
Which, by the way, I damn near fell asleep on that game. Me and Trisha both damn near fell asleep on it. That's how
You
bad.
know what I'm liking about JJ? That his next step to being a great pro, not just, I mean, one of the best ever, is he always could deal with man-man coverage.
Or you talking about
and
Jets? You gotta call them Jets because there's two JJs.
No, I'm not calling them Jets because you don't get to pick your nickname. People give you your.
He didn't pick that.
He didn't pick that.
This was
Who
his,
gave
his
it to
nickname
him?
in high. That was his nickname in LSU.
That was his nickname in LSU. JJ
Wow.
McCarthy's name is JJ.
It just came out this year. He wanted to be called Jets.
Yeah, that's because of
Well,
JJ.
yeah, because of JJ McCarthy.
Because of
That's
JJ
why.
McCarthy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Well,
how you
no,
because he wanted to know how
but-
do we separate you two.
but
and-
He's
because
learned how to.
because they were calling JJ McCarthy J Mac, and Justin Jefferson's like, nah, man, call me Jets because he's the JJ. So
He's
That's
learned now how to get open consistently in zone coverage
well,
is something big.
Well,
I mean, that-
also
yeah,
for him, he's going to face double coverage. and
well,
he's
did you
still
hear his
in
comments
last
though?
week. What he
before
said?
before the 49er game?
What?
They're like, well, they shut down. Excuse me. What's the Jets receiver's name? Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson?
He goes, he's like, yeah, the 49ers shut down Garrett Wilson. What do you think they're going to do to you? He goes, all due respect, I'm not Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, thank God.
And he also goes, when I'm double teamed, he says, even when I'm double teamed, I'm still open.
But he's
That's how you want your wide receiver to talk.
yeah. He's really learned how to deal with the zone double coverage, where earlier on in his career he would disappear.
I mean, he's a receiver, so who knows? See, he's probably, we probably don't know, but you know, he's a wide receiver. He's probably, you know, he may or may not be a diva. I don't know. You could still be a diva and be a wide receiver, but as long as you don't disrupt the locker room or disrupt the team being a diva, that's perfectly fine.
And he's
Right.
actually become a
But-
team leader.
But you have people like
So
Diggs
he is
who are a diva, but you're a diva that's detrimental to the team, then that's not.
Well, you know, now who's becoming a detriment to their team is Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
He's becoming a diva.
Yeah, George, I don't know why I'm calling. I do have kind of a cold. I don't know. Maybe he's coming back from Minnesota. I don't know. I've never smelled so much weed before in my life. Living in Texas, we ain't got that problem.
Oh, we just
I bought VIP for the tailgate for VWO's tailgate. $25 VIP, all you can eat, drink and eat. $25 wristband. So they handed me this wristband, but they also handed me like this long singular thing. I had no idea what it was. And they said it's a blunt. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, it's a blunt. I'm like, well, I don't want this. And you would have thought I was giving away like a winning lotto ticket. I don't want this.
Yeah, it's legal now. We can smoke it without any problems.
Yeah, my buddy's hot.
Yeah,
My buddy's.
I got asthma. So
Well, you met Ben, right? The guy I was staying with. His
Yeah.
apartment complex, the hallways smell like weed.
it don't surprise me.
It's not supposed to. It's a
It's still
non-smoking
gonna
apartment. It's a non-smoking building.
Hell, I got it. It's so bad. I mean, they smoke out in the back of my building here, and it's right by my bedroom.
Yeah.
I can smell it big time. And I swear to God, they smoke right under my window.
You guys watched any of that Nebraska game tonight?
I told everybody Nebraska was going to be good this year, but nobody believed me.
Who won the game?
Got beat tonight. They got beat tonight.
I know, but they're good though.
Yeah, the Illini's not too bad this year.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of, but people were saying Nebraska was going to like finish like last in the Big 12, Big 10. I'm like,
Oh no, Nebraska. I think
They'll
I
be
think
middle
the
of the
Illini are going to give Penn State a game next week.
Yeah,
the one team
Nebraska,
that's always overrated is Colorado, just because of who their coach is.
Gophers got Iowa tomorrow.
I think they win.
I hope so. I hope so. Now they're going to look, and then
Is
after
Iowa
that,
can't
they're
score.
Iowa's not too good this year.
Iowa has those years. One year they'll be good. Next year they won't be that good.
Yeah, they usually always have a good defense, but
Well, it's always those big old farm boys that they sign.
Yeah.
Shut.
But it's a pretty good game. It was overtime. They won the Illini.
Well,
won
like I
30.
said, George, I live in Texas. Texas will be the last state.
Texas will be
Texas
the
or
last.
Mississippi, one of those two will be the last state to legalize it. My guess would be Texas.
It'll be Mississippi.
Well, guys, I got to work tomorrow. I'm going to get going. Tony, I didn't mean to have you screaming and shouting, having discussions, for Christ's sake. You need to chill out.
Well,
I thought Tony.
I do, but when I hear bullshit like that, I'm gonna say something.
I thought Tony was going to break into a Terrell Owens. It's my quarterback. That's my quarterback.
First of all, I'm a defensive lineman. That'll never happen.
All right, guys, I'll see you later.
Yep,
Yep.
later.
Yeah, but a good team leader, even if he's a quarterback, if he's a good team leader, defensive guys will play for him.
No, yeah. I mean, hell, the Purple Beauty Leaders played for Joe Cap. That was their guy.
Yeah. Oh, my quarterback in high school, like I said, that dude told me to run through a wall that was on fire. I would have. But the problem for me is Sunday, I lose no matter what. Because if the Vikings lose to the Texans, I lose. If the Vikings beat the Texans, I lose.
Oh yeah, that's right. Your wife is a Texans fan.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, sucks to be you. I'm gonna go through that with the
Falcons game?
later in the year. Yeah, I'm gonna go through that. Yeah, that game Monday night. My God, I mean, here's a question people should be asking: how bad are the Eagles?
Yeah, people are picking them to win Sunday.
Who they got? New Orleans?
No.
Hold on, I got the schedule right here. Yeah, they got New Orleans.
Oh, they play New Orleans?
Yeah, they're playing New Orleans. In New Orleans.
I don't know if they can stop that run game.
No, and is it just me, or does it look like Jalen Hurts is just off?
Well, isn't that the luck that the Eagles defense is struggling and the Vikings don't play them this year?
Yeah, imagine that one. Imagine that one. And we don't have Kirk,
Yeah.
Because I'll
Or
tell you what,
Kelsey.
that first game, that game Monday night, Kirk didn't start throwing the ball to Drake London until the end.
Yeah.
He just and Kirk had his moments where he looked like Kirk. He did. Bijan Robinson bailed him out a few times, but
Well, that's going to be Kirk. He's going to look like Kirk.
yeah.
He is what he is.
Yeah, so next, and he's got Kansas City. Oh God, the whole country's going to see that one because of Sunday Night Football. They got the Chiefs. Whew.
Could you imagine if he beats the Chiefs?
I will be shocked. Trisha will be even more shocked. She'll be happy, but she'll be more shocked. It'll be guarded. She'll keep guarded optimism, but you know, she's she was listening to me for 6 years, so she knows the bottom can fall out at any time. Yeah, you're right. You're right, McCarthyism. He did. He stepped up when he had to.
Well, he
But it took him a whole 3 quarters to do it.
well that's what he did here too, though.
Yeah. Took him a whole 3 quarters.
I mean, there was times where he wouldn't play well at all. Then all of a sudden, he had that fourth quarter comeback.
And that was my whole thing with the whole Kirk thing. He comes out slow.
Yeah.
He comes out slow, and then he picks it up when the game is on the line or when the game is off the line. All of a sudden, he's throwing for garbage points. I just, that was the problem I had with him.
Yeah,
like I said, it's a long season for everybody, so we'll see what happens, including the Vikings. Guarded optimism. I'm glad we're 2-0. Happy we're 2-0.
But you got to remember, we did start 5-0 one year and missed the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Bob Swede, who is your favorite rock band?
I don't think that would happen because I would think our coaching staff is better than that coaching staff.
Yeah.
But it is Vikings, so
yeah. Okay, rock band. Bob's got a question here. Who's your favorite rock band? Favorite rock band?
Like what kind are you talking about? Just like what kind of rock are you talking about?
Favorite rock band, because there's Zeppelin, Beatles, whatever. As much as I like them, my favorite though.
I'm not a huge Beatles fan.
I'm not a big Stones fan. I like the Kinks better. I guess my favorite rock band would be The Who. I would say classic rock would be The Who. I'm also a big Thin Lizzy guy.
Like my favorite band of all time is Megadeth.
My favorite band of all time? God damn.
So, but rock band.
I'm a diehard Kiss fan.
I'm a Deep Purple guy.
And I love Deep Purple. That's probably my one, Deep Purple. Iron Maiden. That's my favorite. Iron Maiden. But then that leads right into friggin' Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax, Testament, Overkill, Exodus, Death Angel, Celtic Frost. Have I missed anything?
Biohazard.
I like Biohazard. I like Body Count.
Testament.
Testament. Testament.
I think Testament should be in the big four more than Anthrax because I think Testament's a better band, but Anthrax came out first.
Yeah, Anthrax was out first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the next
Anthrax, to be honest, when Joey Belladonna left, Anthrax wasn't the same.
Yeah, when they got what's his name from John Bush from Armored Saint.
Yeah.
I'm a big Pantera guy. I do love Pantera. I got the opportunity to meet both Dimebag and Vinny. R.I.P. to them both. I got to meet them. They were good guys. But yeah, rock band, it's got to be The Who. American rock band is probably Aerosmith. So.
I don't know, man. Because you got Van Halen. They were pretty good.
Van Halen was great.
The thing about Van Halen was that they were good with both these singers.
Yeah.
They were good with Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say. Was Van Halen better with because you got to they were better with David Lee Roth. They were better with Sammy Hagar. I think they were about the same. I think they had just as
They had a
many
different
hits.
attitude. They had
Yeah.
a different attitude, and like David Lee Roth was kind of that let's party all the time type of band, whereas
Yeah.
with Sammy Hagar was more let's rock, and we're older, but let's put
Yeah.
out some kick-ass music. Which yeah, Pink Floyd does count as a rock band there. Purple and Gold. I like some of Floyd's stuff.
I don't know. Was the Animals? I mean, Rising Sun was probably the hardest song, right?
From Floyd?
No, Animals.
From the
The group
Animals, House of
Animals.
the Rising Sun.
Yeah, that was probably the hardest song, right?
Now I got to think. Now you're going to make me think.
It's a great song.
Yeah. And I like the Animals. Yeah, that was probably the hardest one. And they were a 60s act too.
Yeah.
The Animal album by Pink Floyd. That was heavy.
REO Speedwagon and Styx when they did that compilation. That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I think I mentioned this before. My mom's favorite group is Moody Blues.
See, a lot of people I like some of Moody Blues. Moody Blues actually had a couple of songs that rock.
Yeah.
Nights in White Satin is what they're famous for, but they had some songs that rocked.
You're talking about the Velvet Revolver with
Scott Weiland.
Scott Weiland and Guns N' Roses as the backing band.
Yeah, it was. Everybody except the other guitarist, but it was basically GNR.
Yeah.
I did like the Fix back in the day, George. They were one of the few new wave bands I liked. I didn't like a lot of new wave, but they were one of the few that I liked. I don't know. I like some reason I just like English bands more than American, kind of.
Well, I mean,
I think
was it Survivor? They were American, right?
Yeah, they were Survivor was American. Foreigner is both.
I do not know your favorite song.
Her favorite song?
Yeah, I know. Was it Night in White Satin?
Everybody loves that song.
Yeah.
It's been in like every Martin Scorsese movie. Yeah, it's been in like every Scorsese movie. Somebody's getting whacked to that song in all every movie. I did like The Clash.
What about Sweet?
I like Sweet. They were pretty big when everything went to hell too.
Yeah.
You know how I call Will Wright?
Hey, wait a second here. We all know the best band of all time is Spinal Tap.
And just like that,
ask them; they'll tell you.
Just like that, you took this conversation off the rails so fast. It's not even heading for the yard anymore.
There's one band we have not mentioned.
Who?
Black Sabbath.
Which version?
I like the Ozzy one much better.
I'm a Dio guy.
Because the Black Sabbath with the Ozzy is more my type. It's harder. It was more theatrical when Dio came over.
I loved it with Dio. Mob Rules that's my song, Mob Rules. I mean, Ozzy was good, yeah, when they could get him on stage.
But let me see. Rainbow in the Dark was Dio, right?
Yep, that's Dio, yeah.
And then
Man on the Silver Mountain was with Richie Blackmore's Rainbow.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, one of the albums everybody says I should get is Rainbow Rising.
Yeah, the House of the Rising Sun was the Animals, Ma. Talked about that.
That's the Animals.
She loves that song too.
Okay. Yeah, the House of the Rising Sun was a good one. I always liked It's My Life by them.
Yeah.
My favorite of the My favorite band from the Invasion was probably the Kinks. They were just heavier, and then the Who were heavy. Everybody else was kind of poppy. I was never a big Stones guy. Never. Yeah, George. The intro to E5150 and the Mob Rules. Yeah.
I know there's my mom tells me this story about her parents didn't like her listen to it because it was considered like bad music, I guess. Was Runaway
By Del Shannon?
So yeah, she tells me her mom and dad didn't want her to listen to that.
You want to hear something really weird? My mom told me a story years ago that here in the Twin Cities, a DJ got fired on air for playing a song. Guess what song it was?
Is it Runaway?
No, he got fired for playing the Monster Mash.
Really?
He got fired on air for playing the Monster Mash.
What was wrong with that song?
I have no idea. He got fired on air. Yeah.
I mean,
he got fired. And this, you got to remember, this is, I think the song came out in 60 or 61.
yeah, but I still don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, he even had that one song. I can't remember who sings it, but they're taking me away. They're taking me away. That's
Yeah, they're coming to take me away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he got fired for it on air. He played the Monster Mash. My mom talked about that for years. That here in the Twin Cities too.
What about Alice?
Alice, what? Alice in Chains? Alice Cooper?
No, Alice Cooper.
I think maybe a handful of his songs.
I think Alice in Chains was the best Seattle grunge band.
They were the heaviest.
Yeah, I like them more.
I never cared really for Soundgarden.
Their first album, Bad Motorfinger, was a good album.
I did have that one, and then my favorite song from them is "Blow Up the Outside World." Other than that, I'm not the biggest Soundgarden.
Oh, Rusty Cage.
I played Rusty Cage all the damn time.
Yeah, Jesus Christ Pose.
Yeah,
I Bad Motorfinger. You know, those are all. You know.
The first one I had was Louder Than Love. That was the first one I had from them. First album I got from them, and I didn't. Yeah. I didn't care for it, but they were already hyping Seattle.
Well, I didn't say that was their first album. I just said that's just the one that I like. Was a Bad Motorfinger.
That was the first. I think that was
their second album, just like Nirvana's.
That was their second, third.
Yeah, just like Nirvana's second album wasn't Smells Like Teen Spirit. It was Bleach.
Right. Oh, and Lightning Strikes Again was Rowe, Tommy Rowe, I think. He had really high falsettos. Lou Christie, that's his name. Lou Christie did Lightning Strikes Again.
Yeah.
He had real high falsettos, but
then again, my mom also liked Eddie Rabbit and BJ Thomas. So
I liked one song from Eddie Rabbit. I
run away tonight. That one?
Yeah, that was it. Because I heard it on the radio all the time.
Yeah.
BJ Thomas wrote for everybody. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, shit. Favorite band? Well, the bands I've seen the most. So I've seen Kiss and Metallica probably the most, and Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden is my favorite band. But see, most of my favorite bands are metal bands. You know, it's when it comes to new wave, like 80s sound, I was a big Tears for Fears guy.
No, the Outfield only had one hit.
Yeah, they had Lose Your Love Tonight or whatever.
Would you consider Glass Tiger part of that movement?
Yes. I didn't like them.
Simply Red?
No, Simply Red's still with us. They're more of a kind of a That's what I think of. Aha, one hit wonders. I thought they sucked when they came out.
Yeah.
They played that video all the goddamn time. I'm like, really? Just
What was your first Iron like? I'm sorry, guys. I don't know where my cough is coming from. But like, what was your first like Iron Maiden
first
album?
album I bought.
Like,
The first one I bought was Power Slave.
Okay.
But I had listened to the other ones before because I borrowed them from a friend of mine. And so,
like Somewhere in Time.
well, Somewhere in Time I bought.
And
Power
then,
Slave came out before Somewhere in Time.
Right. And Seventh Son of the Seventh Son was later.
Seventh Son of the Seventh Son was right after Somewhere in Time.
Yeah.
No Prayer for Dying was after that. Between Power Slave and Somewhere in Time was Live After Death.
See, I never liked Linkin Park.
Hey, you know what? I could take them or leave them.
My favorite Iron Maiden song though is Aces High.
That's my favorite. Aces High, Running Free,
And Somewhere in Time.
Can I Play with Madness?
Yeah.
Wasted Years. My other favorite is 2 Minutes to Midnight.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah.
So those are my top three.
Mm-hmm.
Flying Aces, Somewhere in Time, and then the second one you mentioned, I'm having a brain collapse.
Oh, Can I Play with Madness?
Yeah, Can I Play with Madness? Yeah.
And see now, okay, Metallica is different because anything after Master, I'm not the biggest fan of.
I'm gonna say Injustice for All.
I did like Injustice for All. I didn't like the production of it, but I did like it.
But to me, I don't dislike Metallica, but Lars makes it really hard to like them. And most people who like Metallica or know of Metallica don't know anything before the Black Album.
Exactly. That's another problem.
Yeah.
They know the commercial Metallica, but not the Metallica that was never played on the radio.
Yeah. Our
Never
Lady
make
Peace was
videos.
okay.
You heard about that, right, Kedge? Jane's Addiction? They got in a fight on stage?
Was this before or after Janie?
It was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, Perry Farrell got into it with
Farrell,
Dave Navarro on stage.
Was Dave Navarro original?
Yes.
Jane's Addiction? Okay.
Yep. Dave Navarro was an original. It's so bad, they canceled the tour.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, they canceled the tour. He started a fight with him. Perry looked high as a kite, and Dave kind of blew him off.
God, Coming Down the Mountain is such a good song.
Oh, the Mountain Song.
Yeah. That's such a good song. Everybody knows it for Been Caught Stealing, but Coming Down the Mountain, I can't remember the name of the song. Whatever. Coming Down the Mountain, like the first. That song is so good.
That's the one when I first heard about him.
Yeah.
Mountain Song was that song because they had the video for it. And, you know, when I didn't go out on Saturday nights, I watched Headbangers Ball, and I just happened.
Well, you see, there was it Metal Up Your Ass, which was changed because apparently Metal Up Your Ass is offensive, but Kill 'Em All is not.
It was the 80s.
So Kill 'Em All. So it was Kill 'Em All.
Ride the Lightning.
Master of Puppets. Then after Master of Puppets,
Garage Days.
they did Garage Days, and then they did Injustice for All, and then the Black Album, and then Load and Reload.
Well, in between there, they had
then they had
Live Shit, Binge and Purge.
Well, they had the S&M album, they had the live album, and all that. But then they had Reload and Load, and they had Saint Anger, which a lot of people don't like.
Oh god, that album sucked.
And then they came back with Death Magnetic, which was awesome.
Yeah,
that was an awesome album. That's the last Metallica album that I bought.
Yeah, and that sounded like the old school.
Metallica. Yeah. That sounded like the old Metallica. So.
Actually, you know what, Bob? I just heard that song the other day. Don't Pay the Ferryman. Which, okay, now Chris de Burgh is the same dude that did the Lady in Red song. And he also did Don't Pay the Ferryman, which sounds like a completely different contrast from what he did with Lady in Red. I was like, okay, same dude, really? Wow.
Like the lady in red is dancing with me cheek to cheek. That song.
Yeah, that he also did Don't Pay the Ferryman. It's if you get the chance, listen to that compared to Lady in Red. It's you would never have thought that he would some shit like that, you know. But yeah, that was in the 80s. Oh God, Lulu. Did people even buy that album?
Yeah, we actually we were actually talking in history class about World War One.
Oh yeah, and they made that video with Johnny.
We did the All Is Quiet on the, and we also had the Reek All Is Quiet on the Western Front.
Mm-hmm.
And then the teacher asked, does anybody know of any songs around this era? And that's when we played the video because of that movie.
Yeah.
So we got to play Metallica in class. It was actually pretty cool.
I think the first time I saw Metallica, they were on tour for Ride the Lightning. I think I've told the story. They opened up for Wasp and Armored Saint at First Avenue, Minneapolis, and they were late.
First time I saw Metallica, they were in concert with Kingdom Come and Guns N' Roses and Metallica.
Was that the Monsters of Rock?
I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Because I saw them on that one too. Because I was
11, like I was 12, 13. I was something like that. So
because I saw them at the Metrodome with the Monsters of Rock, Van Halen, Scorpions, Dokken, Kingdom Come.
It was just those three bands, though. It was nobody else.
Okay, yeah, there was like 5.
But Kingdom Come got booed off the stage. I don't remember if it was just because they were bad or if people just wanted to see Guns N' Roses.
Well, everybody thought they were a Led Zeppelin ripoff.
Right. Well, which is kind of funny because Robert Plant never liked Kingdom Come. He never endorsed them. But the new band that sounds like Led Zeppelin,
he likes them.
He likes them. Yes.
Yeah, he likes them.
Maybe because they're trying to say that they're not a Led Zeppelin clone.
What's the name of that band again?
Oh, I cannot remember the name of it right now.
Hey, help us out in the chat. The name of the band that sounds like Led Zeppelin, the younger band. I forget their name.
Because the guy who sings for them says he's not trying to sound like Robert Plant. That's just his natural voice.
He just does.
Like the guy from Kingdom Come was trying to sound like Robert Plant. Yeah.
Yeah. God. I can't think of the name of the band. Now watch, somebody will put it in the chat who it is, and I'm gonna be like,
yeah.
It's like it's an easy name too, but they just did Saturday Night Live. They've been to Greta Van Fleet. Thank you.
Greta Van Fleet. Yeah.
Thank you, JDT. Yeah.
Yeah.
They sound well. There's a bunch of bands that have came out sounding like Zeppelin.
Right, but they're not trying to. They just do.
Well,
because they said the story goes. I don't know if this is true or not. That they never heard a Led Zeppelin song before in their life.
It's a possibility because they're young enough.
Because they're so young, it's a possibility.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
And then I guess their neighbor or somebody heard them singing. He's like, "You guys sound a lot like one of the greatest bands ever," and they had no idea what he was talking about. And then he played Led Zeppelin, and they couldn't believe how much they sounded like him.
Right.
So like in the interview, so now when they were doing this is before they made it. They made it big. So he was doing his interviews, and he's like, I didn't know who they were. I'm not even trying to sound like them. That's just the way I sound when I sing. You know
who would really wanted to sound like Plant, believe it or not? David Coverdale.
Yeah. David Coverdale has a good enough voice where he doesn't need to, though.
Yeah, he was, even in Deep Purple.
Because if you listen to, I guess I can see that, because if you listen to some of his songs in Whitesnake,
he sounds like Coverdale.
Like Still the Night.
Yeah.
That's kind of Zeppelin-ish.
And don't forget, he did that album with Jimmy Page.
Yeah. So
he was
like the solo, like the still, when he does like the still
Yeah.
in the night by himself, he goes night. That's something Robert Plant would do. So yeah, I guess
he was, and they're contemporary. So, but yeah, he's another one that.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I never thought of that before. Still in the Night is very Zeppelin-esque.
Actually, that the one in the album.
But I could tell you one person who does not like Led Zeppelin.
Who?
My wife.
Just like Zeppelin? Well, that's just un-American.
We tried to get her to like it. We even played Black Dog. She didn't even like that song.
Did you play Whole Lotta Love?
Played that. Played Kashmir. She doesn't like any of them.
Did you play Trampled Underfoot?
No, I gave up after the third one.
Yeah, if you can't, did you try Stairway to Heaven?
She knows that song.
That might be why she doesn't like Zeppelin.
Because she's heard it so many times.
That could be.
She didn't know who sang it. And then I showed her. She's like, oh, yeah, I don't like that song.
She liked the song before she heard who did it.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? The Whitesnake album before the one was Still a Night on Slide It In. I liked the Slide It In album.
Yeah. Because that Whitesnake album was just titled Whitesnake.
Yeah. Which I never understood.
Well, the funny thing is, I don't know if I told this story before. We all know what Whitesnake means. I didn't know what it meant when I was a teenager.
Oh, Jesus.
But
hold on, keep talking. I'll be right back.
But my mom would always play Whitesnake. Like if we went on a trip somewhere and I had the tape, she'd always play in the tape player. And my brother had music that she wouldn't play. But I don't know if my mom knew what Whitesnake was or what the meanings of the song were. I didn't know, but I didn't know if she knew or not. But it's just kind of weird. Let's see. You played with them? Oh, drummer. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Tommy Aldridge. Yeah. Yeah, he played with he also played with Ted Nugent. He's Ted Nugent's drummer too. Tommy's been all
Got
around.
me in a string, oh baby.
We just lost a drummer. Tommy Boland's brother, Johnny Boland, was a drummer. He played drums in Lynyrd Skynyrd. They were from Iowa. He was from Iowa. He just passed away. He outlived Tommy by damn near 50 years, almost.
Well, Tommy died in the plane crash, right?
No, Tommy died of a drug overdose. He was either a drug overdose or drank himself to death. He died in 76, November of 76. He took over in Deep Purple when Richie Blackmore left. So yeah. He's still playing.
I'm sorry, but Motorhead is one of the best albums ever.
Yeah, and Mickey D said
it's banger followed by banger followed by banger. They won that song on that album.
Yeah.
My actually favorite song on that is actually Lazy.
On whose album?
Motorhead.
Oh, okay.
Lazy. Yeah, I kind of think my mom
go back to listen to that one.
Yeah, see, my mom didn't have a clue what Whitesnake meant.
Surprise.
I mean,
just
my mom, just think about it. The name of the group was called Whitesnake, and their album had Slide It In.
Okay, Mom, if you're shocked about Whitesnake, just wait till you find out what Steely Dan is.
I will say one of my mom's favorite groups, though, is Chicago.
I like some of Chicago stuff.
Yeah, 25 to 64 is a pretty good song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am a big Steely Dan fan, but the name.
Yeah, them winning best heavy metal album. Come on.
What's the best heavy metal?
Steely Dan. They won the Grammy for best metal album.
No, not them. That was Jethro Tull.
No, Steely Dan won it too, I think.
Nope, Jethro Tull. Steely Dan got it for album of the year. But Jethro Tull beat out Jane's Addiction, AC/DC, Metallica, and Iggy Pop. That should have went to Metallica for And Justice for All. So
I kind of swore Steely Dan won.
fucking Iron Maiden's going back on tour next year. And Nico's 71. Hell yeah.
They got their own plane.
Yeah. Yeah. Bruce is flying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how, I mean, put it this way, how iconic is their mascot? I mean,
Eddie?
Eddie, yeah. How iconic is that? Oh,
Yeah.
Trisha just texted me. She just texted me. Yep. Yep. I'm gonna tell her to try and jump on. Okay.
Is she actually going to come on? Come on.
I don't know. Oh, do tell. Oh boy. Steely Dan is a sex toy. That's what Steely Dan is. It's a sex toy.
Not the type of conversation I want to have with my mom on here.
The rest is up to you, Catch.
Yeah.
The rest is bad. I did like Bad Company. They were signed to Zeppelin's label Swan Song. And then I just happened. It came up on YouTube. The song "Radioactive" by The Firm. I hadn't heard that song in years, and then I listened to it recently. I'm like, God, they could have made it They could have did such a better effort. Those two, you know, it felt like they put that out and it was rushed.
Yeah. God dang it. I don't know where this coffee is coming from.
Yeah. Yeah, it all of a sudden hit you. It could be pet dander.
No, I haven't felt the best since I came back from Minnesota.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I don't know. Well, I didn't have a voice for the first, almost the whole week I was back.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then I think I got a cold. I'm not sure. But the coffee just started today. I don't know what it is, but I'm still doing the show, though.
Yeah, we're still here, folks.
Stevie Vai.
Adrian Belew is still playing, huh?
Yeah.
God, he was Bowie's guitarist at one time. Steve Vai was.
Yeah, it was my first time at US Bank Stadium. But supposedly it's going to be a yearly thing, so hopefully it's not going to last.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, we've seen as many games, the same number of Viking games, me and you both, and I live here.
Yeah.
The
trick is to buy the tickets as late as possible.
Right. And hopefully the team, you want them to be doing okay, but if they fall apart at the end, the tickets get cheaper.
Yeah.
So you got that. And it depends on who they're playing also.
Well, they were opening, yeah. So
Unfortunately, a lot of season ticket holders, they sell their tickets. And what they do is a lot of Packer fans buy those tickets. That's how the stadium ends up really 50-50.
Well, it was just the opening game. I didn't realize it'd be that good. And I was in section 219, which is the end zone where JJ and Naylor both caught their touchdown passes.
Oh, you were at that end zone.
Yeah. It was awesome seeing that 97-yarder in person. Oh. That was so awesome. And then I don't know if you guys know, but you guys know that the guy who does the drum, who leads the Skull Champ. I was front row, right there, with my camera, filming the whole thing, except for I forgot to hit record.
God. Hey, has anybody brought up how fast that referee was on that play?
Yes. Who was I watching? It was like it might have been the NBC Sports. It might have been Pro Football Talk. With what's that?
Florio and Sims?
It wasn't Florio. It was Sims in the show.
Oh, Sims has that show with that other guy.
But was it that show? I can't remember. But they said that's why the NFL needs to get rid of old referees, old umpires.
Well, you know what's funny? Naylor outran both the referee.
Yeah.
And damn near could have outran JJ.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, they said JJ ran what, like 135 yards on that touchdown?
Yeah. Yeah, when he reversed it, that added more yards to it. So, not to mention the pass was 70 yards. So,
yeah, I've been to the Metrodome. That was
I worked at the Metrodome.
The US Bank Stadium is much better.
Mm-hmm. Same spot. How they finagled that one was beyond me, but yeah,
it is really. I thought I knew it would be big. I didn't think it'd be that big.
Hey baby,
yeah, US Bank
Bank
Stadium. Yeah, I didn't think it'd be that big.
Yeah, it takes up the size of the Metrodome, but like I said, it's like if you go up top, it's like vertigo, and it's like looking straight down. If you have vertigo, fuck. So,
yeah, I don't have vertigo, so I ain't gotta worry about that. But
yeah, Trisha's
I got my
JJ cup.
My JJ cup, yeah.
There you go. So you got a souvenir. You didn't get a game program or anything like that?
Yeah, I got the game program. It's sitting over there on the desk. Yeah, it was a lot. It's funny because we had 49er. I had me and my buddy Ben were sitting here. I had a 49er fan to my left, and we had the whole rest. We were seats 7 and 8. So seats 1 through 6 were 49er fans.
Mm-hmm.
And seat 9 was a 49er fan. 7 and 8 was us. So
yeah, there was a lot of Niner fans there on Sunday. A lot.
But
it was,
and they were mostly down in one section too.
Mm-hmm.
Behind the 49ers bench on the first level.
And they were salty as hell leaving the stadium. I did see video.
Well, we had a Viking fan sitting behind us who got into it. The 49er fan sitting next to me.
Uh-huh.
And other Viking fans are like, why? Because all he has to say is 5 rings and we were in the Super Bowl last year. It's really nothing you could say. I mean, yeah, they can't win in Minnesota, but what does that mean compared to Super Bowl wins? And
and here's the thing with a lot of Niner fans, they like to they're used to starting shit in their own stadium and then having a fight. But it's like, guess what? You're not in your stadium.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, if you ain't careful, you're gonna get your ass beat. So, but yeah, they're weird. Let's just put that there. And that's all they can say. They ain't had a Super Bowl since 1995.
Yeah, but they still got them.
Yeah.
And they've been to 2 recently.
And they've choked them both.
So
they were leading in both of them and choked them. What if McClanahan had not fumbled? We would have had a lead for the first time in any of our Super Bowls. After that, I don't know. But first of all, why are you even giving McClanahan the ball? You got an all-pro in the backfield, but you're giving it to the other guy? Please. The whiners. She hates Niner fans. Trisha hates them. She lives by a bunch of them, so she hates them. She's never liked the Niners.
I think most Viking fans are indifferent.
I could care less. I give them their props, I give them their respect, but I could care less. Some fans, here's the thing, some fans need to pick and choose their battles. That's all.
All I gotta say is most of the 49er fans that were sitting around us were not bad.
Yeah.
Like they said, good game. They weren't salty or anything like that, So my experience was a little bit different than what you said you saw.
Right.
But
JDT, we lost to the Raiders, Chiefs, Steelers, and Dolphins. That's who we lost to in the Super Bowls.
the Raiders was really the only team that beat our ass.
Yeah. Technically, Kansas City did too. We just weren't ready for Kansas City. Miami did too. Pittsburgh was the only one we were in. But I mean, Miami jumped out to a 14-0 lead in the first quarter.
Well, the Raiders beat us
every which way.
Every which way.
Physically beat us.
Every which way they beat us. Yeah.
Yeah, they physically beat us up.
Yeah, it was like, here's the thing though. Would you mind if they became the first team to go 0-5 in the Super Bowl as long as they get there?
So I basically would watch them lose 4 Super Bowls, be alive for all 5.
Yep.
I want them to win.
So you'd rather have them not make it than make it and lose?
I've already seen them make it and lose. I want to see them make it and win.
Most of us haven't, so
Yeah, I want to see.
No, because we get that a lot. They're like, "Oh, just make it to the Super Bowl." But what if they lose? Well, they just made it.
Those are talking from people that have never experienced a Super Bowl loss.
Yeah.
If you've experienced a Super Bowl loss, you know what? If you thought that championship game was heartbreaking, those championship games we lost, lose a Super Bowl. Some of these motherfuckers will be on suicide watch. Seriously. And then the worst part about with the older teams, they went 3 out of 4 years and lost. They were the Buffalo Bills before Buffalo, and Denver before Denver won, because Denver, I think, went 3 out of 4 years and lost.
Yeah, Denver was 0-3 before they won. God damn. Sorry,
guys. They lost 3 years with Elway.
But they lost 1 year with Morton.
Yeah, that was 77. That was after.
Right, and then they lost the next 2 with Elway, and then they won the third one with that fourth.
They won the third one with. Well, don't forget with Elway, they lost to the Giants, the Redskins, and the Niners, and then they finally beat the Packers. They beat the Packers.
I thought was it? Because they lost to the 49ers twice, right? Morton lost to the 49ers.
No, Morton only went to 1 Super Bowl.
Right. He lost with the
He lost to the Cowboys. Don't forget they both wore number 7.
Yeah.
He lost to the Cowboys.
So Elway was the quarterback for the 55-10 loss?
Yep, that was Elway.
Okay.
That was Elway.
So that's 4 Super Bowls they lost it, right?
Yeah, they lost 4 Super Bowls.
So they were 0-4.
Mm-hmm.
So they're
when they beat, they are 3-4 in Super Bowls, or 3-5, 3-5, because Manning lost 1, won 1, Elway won 2.
Yeah, they beat the Panthers
They beat the Panthers. They lost to the Seahawks, and they beat Atlanta, Trisha's team, and they beat Green Bay. Yep, Green Bay. So,
hey, if the Broncos can do it, why can't we?
Because we're Minnesota. Because we're Minnesota. We find ways to fuck shit up.
But at least Buffalo lost 4 straight, though. That's got to be rough.
Yeah, that's.
And they were truly only in one of them.
They had a chance in the first one after the Giants one. They just got manhandled. And here's a kicker, though. They were leading Dallas in both Super Bowls at one time. They were leading them, and then they just fell apart. But yeah, the Washington one, the one was here in Minneapolis. They were never in that. Never. Yeah, they went 4 years in a row and lost. 4 years in a row.
So, okay, so you said they lost 5, right? The Broncos?
Yeah, Broncos lost 5.
So they lost to the Cowboys?
They lost to the Cowboys, lost to the
Cowboys?
Giants, Redskins, 49ers, Seahawks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember because they were – I remember someone made a comment about they lost every team in the NFC East but the Eagles.
Yeah, but the Eagles. Yep.
Yeah,
So,
Timmy Smith in the 35. The Redskins scored 35 points in the second quarter.
yeah, that was the 42-10 Super Bowl. Strike shortening.
Right, they were up 7-0. Broncos scored first in that game.
Mm-hmm.
They were up 7-0.
Broncos scored first and never looked back. And you know the funny thing about it was Doug Williams got knocked out of the game.
Schroeder came in, right?
Schroeder came in for one play, got sacked.
Yeah.
And Doug Williams came back in the game, and that was all she wrote.
Well, Timmy Smith had 206 yards that game.
Yeah, and Doug Williams had like 4 touchdown passes. Yeah, you talk about Super Bowl winners that disappeared off the face of the earth the next year, Timmy Smith.
Talk about a 1A, but if you're going to have a game, that's a hell of a game.
That's the game to have. That's the game to have.
Wow.
We don't know about the kicking woes yet, JDT. I mean, game's got to be on the line and see what he does. But right now, I mean, yeah, Little Willie, he's the dude. I call him Little Willie.
He becomes Big Willie once he makes a kick.
He looks like a dork.
Well, he's a kicker.
He looks like a grade A geek.
Not as much as the head coach of the Dolphins.
No, he's a geek. He's a leader of the geek club.
feel like he should be going to a chess match instead of football coach.
No, he should be playing Dungeons and Dragons.
I never played Dungeons and Dragons.
I didn't either. I knew guys that did though. Yeah,
I remember people would that was their Friday night.
It was.
Then they'd just play D&D all night.
Mm-hmm.
So
I knew one dude that played D&D so much he played to the point where he couldn't die.
Oh, you mean his character was so strong?
His character was so strong, he was invincible in the game. He's like, oh fuck.
Well, what's the point?
Yeah.
At that point, what's the point?
Exactly. I remember they used to have like the big books. I mean, they had like volumes of books on D&D.
Yeah.
I'm like, jeez. I thought I was bad. All I did was play Stratomatic. Fuck. You know, anything's possible. Anything is possible. I'm just going to leave it at that.
So, Trisha, are you going to say you like that after they win? You like that?
She still don't like Kirk.
Kirk O'Chea's doing.
Yeah, she still don't like Kirk.
On the flip.
Oh my God, that's going to be a hell of a game to watch.
If they beat the Chiefs, the Falcons are the favorite in the NFC.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, for years, Kirk Cousins can't win the big game. Oh, now all of a sudden they're Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah. Well, like I said before, the Vikings couldn't win the national media. The Vikings will never win with Kirk Cousins at quarterback. The national media this year. The Vikings will never win without Kirk Cousins as their quarterback. 0-4 record against the Chiefs. Yeah, and he lost to him last year too.
Yeah, he lost. They even lost when Mahomes was hurt. They still couldn't beat the
that's
Chiefs.
right. Yeah, that's right. They lost on the last second field goal, and that was on Zimmer because his run defense gave up that 92-yard run. Yeah, the next foreign game is a week after this one. Minnesota and the Jets in London.
Yep, week 5.
Week 5.
And then they get to bye.
And then Minnesota gets to bye. That Jets game now looks kind of interesting.
Well, they did pay the Patriots.
Yeah, the
The
Patriots.
Patriots still have an offense.
Patriots are bad.
So
That team is bad. God, that is how the mighty have fallen. I mean, and they've literally fallen flat on their faces.
yeah.
You know?
Well, they were trash before they got Brady.
Yeah, they caught lightning in a bottle,
Yeah.
and they had success, and they got the rings. Yeah, 6:30 a.m. for you, babe. 8:30 for me. Fucking butt crack.
I probably won't even go to bed that night.
I'll try to.
Nah, I'll probably go to bed at 3. Get 5 hours worth of sleep. That's all I need.
I need at least 6 or 7. I try to get as much sleep as I can, but I don't sleep through the middle of the night. I don't sleep through the night.
I'll get up. I'll go to bed at 4:30,
Okay.
and I'll get up at 9:30, 10 o'clock. So
who's a quarterback that left Minnesota besides Brad Johnson and went to a Super Bowl?
was that a question from the
Bob
Is that
Sweet. Yeah, Bob.
oh
I know
well.
Brad. Tavares Jackson, back up in Seattle. Geez, that's it.
Gannon?
Oh, Gannon, that's right. Yep, Gannon.
Oh, yeah.
Did Wade Wilson get a ring with Dallas as a backup? I know Kosar did.
I know he was there. I don't know if he was the backup though with that year.
Who else?
So I don't think anybody did it as a starter other than Gannon.
No. Oh, Bob Lee got a ring as a back. He was a backup with the Rams in '79. Yeah, that's it. I think the only one to win it was Brad.
Yeah.
Tavares wasn't a starter, but he won. He won it.
Well, that's 2 former Vikings quarterbacks were the starter in that Super Bowl. Rich Gannon and Brad Johnson.
Oh, Gannon and Brad Johnson. Yeah, that's right. You never know. Could be Kirkle. Yeah. Okay, honey. If you guys
go to the Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins, I think Vikings fans would kill themselves.
It would be
That would just prove that the Vikings are fucking cursed.
Yeah. Yeah, that would. So that would just, God. Yeah, we are cursed division. We are now the Chicago Cubs of football.
Let's see. Did Bubby Brister go to the Super Bowl with the Steelers before or after he played for Minnesota?
Before.
Okay. Yeah, you're not making very many friends, Trisha.
She don't care.
Let's see. I think that's got to be it.
That's it. That is it. Yeah, that's the only one I can think of that won it. T-Bass left. He had to go to
Work.
Yeah.
He works on the weekends.
Yeah. Did you put the link in there for anybody who wants to come on?
Yeah, I put the link in there.
Okay. If you guys want to come on, because
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up soon. So if you guys want to
yeah.
come on,
So
get your thoughts about
get
the
your
game,
thoughts
or
out there. Let us hear them. Yeah, after my rant there, Skull. Well, the funny thing is, I've never been worked up like that, but I've been hearing that a lot lately about the whole Darnold thing. If he does well, to extend him, it's like they're just not going to extend him. I'm sorry, folks.
No, if you listen to KOC talk, if you read between the messages, you read between the lines. JJ is the starting quarterback game one.
He's a starting quarterback next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is a
Because
starting
his knee should be fully healed by then. So,
and keep in mind, we're lucky that Darnold's playing well these 2 games.
yeah.
Whole lot of shit can happen rest of the year. So here's the thing. Like I said, if Darnold balls out, it's a payday for him.
Yep.
He's going to get paid. And what the Vikings will do is, of course, they'll make an offer to him that's a good offer. But the Vikings aren't going to make an offer to him where some NFL team's going to be like, you know what? They can have him. There's going to be an NFL team that if he plays well, they're going to be like, okay, up that offer, maybe put a couple of years on it, see what happens, more guaranteed money. He'll go to that team. You have a
look at Tennessee. Would they rather have a Darnold
they'd rather have
than a Will Levis right now?
I think Will Levis probably God. They're not going to win with Levis. Tennessee would be one of those teams that would pay for a quarterback. Also, here's another one. Miami.
Yeah,
Even
with
with
Tua's concussions.
Tua's concussions.
And Miami is not a hard market. It's like they're not gonna like the Jets. Not only are the Jets bad, but the media is terrible there.
Yeah.
People in Miami people care about the Dolphins in Miami, but they're also care more about going to the beach and shit. So it's not that hard playing in Miami.
No. You're gonna I mean quarterbacks retire, some hang it up, some don't work. He's gonna thank you, George. I'm passionate when it comes to the sport of football. But I mean with Darnold, he's a 1-year deal here.
Yeah.
And they meant it as a 1-year deal, and he was supposed to just
and I think Sam knows it's a 1-year deal.
And Sam knows. So Sam balls out. He'll be
But fine. Going back to this comment, I agree. It's not that bad for him to sit a full year.
Yeah, I don't have a problem.
I think that was the original plan anyway.
And if you look at the teams that started their number ones this year, they ain't looking too good. It could be the offense.
Jaden Daniels is the only one that looks okay.
And Jaden's got to learn to trust his arm and stop running so much. Or he's going to end up like Tua.
Caleb Williams is a disaster, but his offensive lineman has a part to do with that.
Chicago, as an offensive team, is a dumpster fire.
Bo Nix already has a new nickname, Bo Picks. So you don't want that.
Couldn't happen to a nicer
Drake May played his first game last week, so you can't make a judgment on him yet. But
the first game he played was last night, wasn't it? Drake May.
The first game he played was last night, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He didn't look very well.
Yeah.
He didn't look very good.
So
Skull State of my Caleb is trash. And here's the thing with Caleb.
My voice is hurting too much, or else I'd go on the rant. I don't think you were here earlier, Skull, when I went on my rant earlier about the Chicago Bears.
Caleb has a lot to learn, but he doesn't want to learn. Yeah. Caleb came in thinking he was God. And I'm sorry, brother, but you got D tackles faster than you.
Yeah.
And it's like he's not, and Chicago just offensively, they're just.
Well, think about it. Chicago should technically be 0-2.
They should not have lost to Tennessee.
Will Levis threw the worst pick a quarterback could ever throw.
Yeah, that was bad. And keep in mind, they've got a new head coach too. I like Mike Vrabel. I I think here's a problem with a lot of these teams now. Your defensive coaches are not getting head coaching jobs because everybody wants to score points.
Right.
That's the whole thing. Defense is optional. And what you're getting now is a bunch of offenses that.
But what's a misnomer though, because of the what is the stat? Was it 10 of the last 16 Super Bowl winners have had a top 11 defense?
Well, you're still going to have defense. You have to.
So it's really a misnomer that offense wins.
It is, but the NFL's pushing a narrative.
Yeah.
With the league pushing a narrative, I mean, put it this way: the Giants had a player that got fined for the hip drop tackle. They didn't penalize him, but he got fined for it. That was the one where Addison hurt his ankle, but he did get fined. But they're supposed to call that in games. But it's like when a play is going as fast as it is, you don't know what a hip drop tackle is. It looks like a regular tackle. You have to let the defense earn their money and let them play. So, I mean, that's the whole thing. The offense is so they've glorified the quarterback and wide receiver positions. Hell, running backs don't make money anymore. And if they do make money, they're on a 1-year deal, such as Aaron Jones.
But I can't remember who said it, but I was listening to Sirius XM Satellite, and I think I've said this before. He was he a scout or was he a GM? He was one or the other. I can't remember what he said. But he said, don't be surprised if not this year, but next year,
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be an NFL team that's going to turn. And you've probably seen it this year with the Chargers. That there's going to be a team that goes back to what it was like in the 80s and 90s with the running game, because the defensive ends and the linebackers are so small in today's football that if you run the ball all the time, they're not big enough.
Right. That's why it's as much as I love Dallas Turner, to me, he's on the skinny side.
Yeah.
He really is. You're not gonna have the way the defenses are built now. That's why I'm surprised more teams don't run the ball in these defenses. They're built to stop the pass, not the run. And see, for us old school cats, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And having a running game helps a young quarterback, aka JJ McCarthy. And it takes time off the clock.
The horse collar one's probably the only one that I agree with, but college football has made the horse collar tackle even worse, because before you actually had to put your hand in the shoulder pad and then bring them down.
You don't have to now.
College football, if you put your hand where their name is, even if you're just pulling the jersey, you still get called for it. Even though pulling the jersey, doesn't have the same effect as pulling the shoulder. It's much more dangerous when you do it by the shoulder pads. And when you pull the jersey, it does not have the same effect.
You can still get kicked out of the game for it.
Yeah.
In college. Well, here's the funny part. Okay. Anybody that saw the game saw your guy, Joey Browner, make a horse collar tackle on Gerald Wilhite, ended his career.
Yeah.
That was 87. Why did it take them 30 some odd years or 40 some odd years to do something about it? And that was
Roy Williams from the Cowboys, who pretty much put that into effect, because that's pretty much how he tackled.
And Roy Williams has been out of football for how long?
A long time.
Yeah. And now all of a sudden you're going to bring that rule in? Come on. The timing makes no sense with the league. The league is just, I don't know. It's like when the scoring goes down, they got to find more ways to put points on the board because they figure people want to see scoring. Okay, yeah. The ones that want to see scoring.
That 3-0 game against the Raiders last year, I like that.
I liked it. I mean, I get it, Well, JDT, the horse collar thing, first of all, as a defensive player, what used to be defensive player, there was no such thing as an unfair tackle. You brought your
Right.
opponent down the best way you could.
Yeah.
And there was a time there where friggin' it was a running game too. Your fullbacks were the size of defensive tackles. I mean, Mike Allstott, you're not bringing him down trying to wrap him up. He's going to drag you 10 yards.
Tom Rathman.
Tom Rathman. There was a time where, you're a defensive player. You had to bring him down the best way you could. But I think for player safety, they changed it.
Well, because the horse collar tackle is a dangerous tackle. It really is.
Any tackle is dangerous. If
You know what? Yeah, but the horse collar because not only are you pulling them down, it's almost a sudden stop, but you can also like land on their legs as they're. So I've probably seen more injuries with a horse collar tackle than other injuries. But my biggest issue is I understand like the helmet to helmet contact, but as a defensive player,
it's helmet to helmet contact on every play.
But as a defensive player, what I don't get is when the offensive player lowers his head, you're supposed to instantly drop your head again, not to avoid these. You can tell the people who make these rules didn't play.
They never played
because you cannot physically react that fast.
They never played. Also, you want to take the head out of the game. Okay, what are you going to do about the offensive line? What are you going to do about the line of scrimmage? Because there's a lot of headbutting on every play.
Yeah.
On that thing. I mean, in Canada, what they did was they have the defensive linemen like a yard apart. And then at the line of scrimmage, you're kind of off the ball by a yard. In the NFL, you're right up on it where the ball is, but you're still butting heads. They haven't taken that. They haven't changed that. I'm waiting for them to do it, but they haven't done that yet. It's bad enough that the offense can hold as much as they do and get away with it. I mean, these guys are literally grabbing shoulder pads, picking players up and throwing them down and not getting called for holding. So exactly, JDT. They don't care about the guys in the trenches. They're paying for the moneymakers. They're paying for the theatrics. They're paying for the showmen, the quarterbacks and wide receivers. That's unfortunately because that's every show you see now. It's either about the quarterback or it's either about the wide receiver. They don't do specials on defensive players, offensive linemen, defensive linemen. They don't do anything like that. It's all about
Netflix ain't going to do a special called Nose Tackle.
No, they're not. They're not.
They might do defensive backs, but that's about it.
They're not going to do defensive backs either. But defensive backs can't even play defensive back now. They're just an aesthetic. They're just a highlight aesthetic for offense. You're just basically defensive players now, unfortunately, are just props for highlight reels for offenses. So, and it's sad. It's people that are running the league now. Unfortunately, a lot of the people in the NFL are taking their cue from the NBA. And the NBA doesn't play defense anymore, but they're all about showmanship. And
that's why hockey. The only thing hockey took out was, they actually didn't take it out, but it's fighting still in it.
Yeah, but you actually have one fight and that's it.
Yeah,
where you used to have bench clearing brawls on a regular basis.
But hockey still hasn't changed that much. So
no, and it's of all the four sports, it's still a niche sport almost.
That's because it doesn't translate to TV well.
Sure does.
If it translated to TV better, people can't follow the puck.
Why can't you?
I don't know. But that's the biggest complaint about hockey is I don't know where the puck. I can't follow the puck.
Okay, half these idiots that watch football wouldn't know what a first down is unless you put the line there, and then all of a sudden, well, can't they see the line on the field? It's not on the field, dumbass. It's on your TV. Jeez. I swear to God, we've gotten dumber and dumber as a society. It's, you know what? Most of the people that watch sports nowadays, if you had put them in the world 40 years ago to watch sports, they'd be fucking lost.
Yeah.
They would be fucking lost.
Well, hell, do you remember when Fox got the NFL they did something revolutionary. They put the score box on the top left-hand corner of the screen.
Yeah, that was the
That
first.
was never done before that.
Yeah, the most innovative thing we had seen before then was the 10-minute ticker
Yeah,
on NBC.
yeah.
And that was it. But they would always break in with a highlight or two, but there was a 10-minute ticker. Every 10
Yeah.
minutes, they would update the scores. That was in like 86, you know. But I mean, now it's like it's now everything is right up to the minute. Player stats, scores, even now gambling, they've got the current line and all that other shit.
One thing I noticed about US Bank Stadium, maybe it's because where I was sitting,
Mm-hmm.
it was actually easier to find the out of town scoreboard than it was to see like 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. You know, it might have been
Actually, I
just
think
where
the
I
out
was,
of town scoreboard is right over where you were.
well, it's directly across from where I
It's
was
directly
sitting.
across from the big board.
Yeah, so it was probably right above me
Yeah,
where I was sitting.
it's the big. Well, luckily they got the two big boards
Yeah, yeah.
on both ends of the stadium. So
But my
that
seats were close enough. I really didn't watch much on the screen.
right. Oh hell, I noticed that when I went to the Gopher game. I mean, there's a lot going on as far
Right.
as it's wild for the senses, but you got the big board, and then you had like the board across from where we were sitting had the out of town games.
Yeah.
But here's the bitch though. People were still on their phones checking scores. Yeah.
I don't
people
think I
were
used my
checking
phone
scores.
once during the game. Oh yeah, I did. I went to X to get a JJ update.
Okay.
But other than that, no.
Yeah, it's not like it was back in the day. I mean, even at Met Stadium, you had to score board with all the games on it,
Yeah.
but they updated as much as they could. But
I mean, I don't know if you guys know this or not, these young people, but the scoreboard was actually had bulbs.
yeah, they were light bulbs.
There were light bulbs.
Yeah.
And it had like basic like
Basic light
right
bulb.
angles.
Mm-hmm.
So like Cleveland would have been like CL
CLE.
and then capitalize E.
Yep.
So yeah. So,
Minnesota would have been MIN.
Yep.
I think LA was just LA
Yeah.
because there was only one LA team. New York, though, I think they would put the Jets name instead of the.
Yeah, yeah.
They put either Jets or Jets.
Well, the teams that had the short names, they would put the
NYJ or NYG.
Yeah, they would do the Jets or so if the team had had a short name, sometimes they would put.
But the
that,
Vikings, remember, like you had the scoreboards, like you have like the like burger places where you slide the letter or number in. That's what Met Stadium had for years. They had the team name and then they slid it into the slot. And then with the scoreboard, they just would have like they had the abbreviation for the teams and then they put the score. But somebody had to get up there every weekend or every day and put those boards up and put those names up there. Yeah, with a ladder.
Yeah. Now everything is digitized, fiber optic,
digitized and chronicalized, and it's a much different way of getting information. Put it that way. So, it's weird, George. I have yet to go to a Wild game. I do want to check out the Wild one time. But I have yet. I've been to Excel for concerts, but never for a hockey game, which is what it was built for.
So the Twins are being boycotted.
No, they blew it.
The fans aren't. There was a call for boycott the home games.
Yeah.
So
I
agree with it.
Yeah. What's probably going to happen is Rocco's going to be fired, but it's not Rocco's fault.
It's not Rocco's fault.
No, it's the Polad's fault.
Yeah.
They want the fans up here want they want the team.
Problem is though, is that the Pohlads are the fourth richest owners in MLB.
Yeah, but they don't put shit in the baseball team.
Yeah.
They don't put shit in the baseball team. There's a difference if you spend money on your team. You know what? As much as I'm critical of the Wilson shit, at least they spend money on this team.
Yeah.
The Wolves are starting to spend money. The Vikings are spending money. The Wild are starting to spend money.
Well, the Wild can't. The Wild can't spend money until next year.
Oh, are they
This
still
is the
paying?
last. This is the last year of the Parisi Suter contract.
Oh, okay. So they got one more year of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
but Bill Guerin has pretty much already said they're going to spend when they get the money.
I don't blame them.
The fact that they're still winning and their salary cap strapped like they are is pretty remarkable.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, so
this
it's
might
not-
be the worst. This might be the worst year of all of all the years.
Oh, for them coming up,
Yeah, this
They're
might be the
still not-
worst.
there's still an outside chance they make the playoffs, though.
Right, but this might be the worst year record wise that they've had. Why go? Why go over this Parisi Suter contract stuff?
Wow.
Yeah,
God, I can't. Shit, and they've been gone. How long have they been gone?
4 years.
4 years, yeah.
They made the right decision on Parisi because he had nothing left.
No,
But Suter, he's still
Suter's still playing.
he's still one of the best defensemen in the league.
Mm. We've had some pretty good defensemen that we've let go
Yeah,
for whatever reason. Yeah,
and they,
whatever reason. But yeah, I mean the Twins aren't spending any money, and why go? And the season's almost over anyway. There's one more week. We're already at the end of September. My God. So you're kind of like, screw it. We're not in the postseason.
well, they still are.
They're only like a half game lead.
Half game over the Tigers.
Yeah, I call it a wrap.
Yeah, I stopped watching.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
The Vikings are 2-0. Who cares about the Twins right now?
That's usually what happens.
Unless the Twins are like one of the best teams in baseball when football season starts. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're up against Boston, who I think is Boston pretty far out?
No, Boston is like only a couple games behind them.
Yeah, Boston's got more to play for.
And I think Boston they were leading last time I saw.
I think they won. Score prediction for Sunday? Okay.
Yeah, let's do that before we get out of here. We are doing this live stream Sunday.
Okay. I will be the first one. I'm going to go on record. I worry about the Vikings containing CJ Stroud. Outside of that, Texans really don't scare me. So my final score is Houston Texans 20, Minnesota Vikings 30.
I don't think it's going to be that high scoring because both these defenses are good. Of course, then again, San Francisco's defense was good. We saw the Vikings did to them.
Yeah, and they would have if barring those 2 turnovers.
And the Texans don't have a dude like that on their defense.
No.
They're
Plus,
down to
you
their
can't-
third
you
string center. They're down to their third string running back.
If I'm the Vikings, I'm probably blitzing the gaps all day.
The only person on that team who really, I don't think, Stephon Diggs might be motivated.
Stephon Diggs is old.
Yeah, Nico might have a good game.
Might.
But I heard they're going to put Stingley on Jefferson 1-on-1. So
good luck with that one.
that means the Texans are going to lose if they do that. If the Texans do that,
No, you know what's going to happen? They're going to roll Petrie over the top.
I listened to a Houston Sports Talk radio today, and they said that Houston's planning on putting him Stingley 1-on-1.
That's a death knell.
And they're like, no. The hosts of the show were like, Stingley's good, but no. So if the Texans do that, JJ is going to cook them.
Well, you know what now? Guess who's open? Naylor.
Yeah.
So, and then guess what? That interior, that defense didn't improve me at all. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pound the rock with Jones and with Chandler.
I'm going to say 24. I would say 24-10 Vikings.
Aren't I just the optimistic one here?
Well, because the only reason is because of Texans defense. But I mean,
And
I think Stroud. I do think they pick off Stroud.
they're gonna cause one turnover from Stroud.
They lead the NFL in pressures and sacks, but nobody's talking about it. They have 11 sacks.
Yeah, and
games.
you got an interior line that's banged up. Well, your offensive line ain't that good anyway because the Bears were putting pressure on them too.
Yeah.
And the way now, like you said, Flores is going to come up with some things that are not going to be on film from the Niner game that's going to confuse Stroud. Stroud's going to be like, they did not show this.
Yep.
So it's going to be pre-snap. And that's going to really throw him off. So,
well, as Brock Purdy says, man, you got some crazy schemes.
Yeah.
You never know who's going to come. I watched the film breakdown of the Vikings defense against the 49ers offense, and it looked like they were bringing 7, 8 guys, but in the end, they ended up only bringing 4 guys and dropping into a cover 2.
Right. So, I mean, it's and, that's going to be a different look for Stroud. Stroud has the athleticism, though, to get out of trouble, unlike Purdy. Stroud can throw on the move. That's another thing. But, I mean, you give him some looks, it's going to freeze him up. He might have a rookie moment. He's a young guy. But as far as the Texans pass rush goes, if you take away Hunter and Anderson, okay, you're probably going to have Hunter against Darisaw, O'Neal against Anderson. The Anderson-O'Neal matchup worries me more than the Hunter-Darisaw matchup.
Well, how you got to go back to, how did they do when they faced each other in practice?
Well, and they both, Darisaw and Hunter gave each other praise. O'Neal has gone up against Hunter too.
Yeah.
Anderson is the one, and Anderson's got that quick jump off the ball that could be a problem, but
they don't have an interior pass rush at all.
No. But guess what? We can't block on the interior except for Brandel. You got 2 weak links in Bradbury and Ingram. So
yeah,
if they were going to have a get better game for those two, it would be this one, and it would be running the ball.
Yeah.
Because
the team they play after this has got a much better interior defensive line.
Right.
The Jets' interior defensive line is way better than the Texans.
Packers are too.
So, yeah, I forgot about the Packers. Yeah.
Yeah, Packers are too. But the Packers, you can run on the Packers.
But you can run on the Packers. That's why I think Tennessee's going to beat the Packers. They're not going to be able to run on the Tennessee defense like they did on the Colt defense.
They're playing in Tennessee, right?
Yes.
I'm still going to go Packers with that one. Levis is the problem, and you don't have the you don't.
But if you can run on the Packers defense, though.
Yeah, it's if I'm the Texans, what I'm probably doing, like JDT pointed out, I'm moving Hunter around, and if I'm really want to get Hunter involved, I probably put him on I do what Zimmer did in that playoff game against the Saints. I put him on the guard, and the guard I put him on, Ed Ingram. That's the guard I would put him on. You make Bradbury have to commit to helping him block Hunter, which if they pick it up, fine. Darnold can move if he has to. We've seen that, so that's a plus. He's not going to be a sitting duck back there like like who. So, but I'm going to roll with the Vikings 30-20.
And like I said, we are doing a live stream. So we will see you guys at the live stream. Like to thank everybody for joining us again. I'm
with my rant.
Sorry, I'm coughing all over the place. I apologize for that. Show must go on. There is no sick days here. Shit, I did this show when I had COVID.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I remember that.
God. That sucked. I did not feel good at all.
I know.
But we would like to thank you guys for joining again. Can't tell you how much we enjoy it. So once again, when we do Vikings Vintage next Wednesday, it's gonna be Packer week, so a lot of history.
A lot of history to talk about with the Packers. A lot of history.
And of course, again, the Friday free for all. It's going to be a weekly thing because the season's back.
Yep.
So, once again, we'd like to thank you guys for joining, and
I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning. Oh, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back. Moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do it?